Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drop Frames. It's Sunday. We've got Cool Man Co. Daddy-O. The illest with the chillinest. Zeke, help me. Zeke, take it over.
He's the man with the plan. He's got the racks and the stacks, and the best on wax coming to you live from the Drop Frame studio here at KWDF. 10th caller in today gets a free cup of bath water from Co Carnage's hot tub.
Hello. Yes. Hey,
yeah,
caller.
You're the 10th caller.
Zeke's got this. Yes.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, Zeke, go ahead, please. All
right.
No. It's over. It's over. It's done. We're done.
I'm waiting for that 10th caller. Over. So if you... go ahead. The joke's done.
The joke's over. And scene. Nailed it. Woo! Thanks for coming to our improv class. Thank you. Yeah, do your glasses auto adjust, Co, or are you just really
transition
cool today?
Yes, but the glasses are transition. They're actually the first pair of transition I've ever had. Hate them. Gonna never get them.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you really hate them?
Hate them. Loathe them.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
I don't like, I'm not a fan of, that seems bad too. I don't like that. Nope. How long, what's the transition period usually? It's not instant.
Not only, there's all sorts of issues with transition, because the thing is that they're kind of off or on. And a lot of times when they're on, it's too much. And then when you walk, especially if you're outside, they're transitioned and it's too much. And then you walk into the house, it's going to be like a solid 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh,
that it's going to cool down.
That's a lot.
And when you're inside with shades like this, not only do you look dumb, but it like makes it harder to see. So it's like, transitions, cool idea. Tech isn't there yet.
Wait,
I feel like transition lenses would need like some kind of like adjuster on the side,
a little slider.
I'd much rather be able to like manually do it instead of have the light do it, but that's not how they work, so it's not like you could really do that the way they currently function.
Sure.
It's currently just light reactive. It's super basic.
Yeah.
They do it in Mission Impossible though, right?
They do. What I'm really going for is I'd like to get some Adam Jensen installs.
Ooh.
I'd like some that just slide in and out of the sides of my face.
Okay, I'm going to date myself on this. You guys remember A Different World? That show on
Game?
It was a spin-off of I think Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
It sounds familiar.
What? That show had a spin-off show?
Yeah.
It's a college show, the Dwayne Wayne glasses, where he had the sunglasses, but he'd flip them up. And then they had real glasses underneath.
Wait, Ichabod says I have transition lenses. It doesn't take 15 minutes.
Okay.
Just 20 or 30. Dude, I'm sitting here rocking the untransitioned lenses. I've been inside for like 10 minutes. Yeah. Where did you get yours?
It's true.
Yeah, because mine do not do that. You can see they're getting a little less. Like they should be totally clear now. Like I'm in an environment where they're normally totally clear, and they're still like maybe at 25% right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine do not switch quickly at all.
It's rough.
Maybe mine are bad. They go bad. Like,
maybe you got one of those North Carolina specials. Did you go to a doctor?
We don't do papers. We don't do papers too good down here. We're not really a paper state. It's more like
makes
Maine.
Sense. Yeah,
where they eat lobsters.
Maybe it's the lights in your room. Are they?
They never trigger it normally.
Okay, so. All right, yeah.
So
I've never seen that show.
Oh, you've never seen A Different World?
Nope.
It's a great show. Mm-hmm. Did you guys? I'm sure you guys have, since you guys are glasses wearers. No LASIKs, no contacts for either of you.
That's one of those things that I've been thinking about for like a decade.
Yeah,
I haven't pulled the trigger. Our friend of the channel,
LASIK, you mean, right?
He got LASIK.
Yeah, or LASIK.
And he swears by it. He said it's one of the best decisions he's literally ever made in his life. So, but I also now, granted, this was 20 years ago, but when I was in high school, when I was in my senior year, I'll never forget when there was a white station wagon and an orange paint for probably 3 months, half a year. It drove all around where I lived in North Carolina, and an orange paint. It said Duke, which is my local big hospital, Duke LASIK ruined my eyes.
And he was driving
in bright orange paint. I know, and they drive around. I'm like, is that really the best thing for you to do?
What?
But no, for like,
was he just hitting shit constantly?
It was crazy. But no, literally for like months, this car was driving around, and I remember vividly because they would commute like around the same time I go to school. I'd see them frequently, and I'd always remember like look at it and be like, I'm never getting LASIK. Yeah. I never getting. But granted, that was 20 years ago, and I mean the tech evolves every few years.
Yeah.
So I mean these days, I've heard I felt the same way about the snip, and that was about as easy as it could have possibly been. So I need to pull the trigger.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there's
you. Yeah. What's your excuse?
I think there's
just real quick.
Okay.
Before we move on, just a quick Google search says that less than 1%.
Sure.
Complications for LASIK.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I have heard at this point, it's like you're talking about standard operating procedure complication. Like every operation comes with complications. Like LASIK has gotten to the point where it's like within standard deviation of like, that kind of stuff. With the amount of intrusiveness it is.
It's a little unfair to compare it to the snip, because that would be like if the snip went bad and they cut your dick off, right? Like that's how, if LASIK goes bad, you lose your eyes. Like lose your eyes.
If the snip goes wrong, you can lose everything down there, JP.
That's true. But
JP,
like,
I'm not kidding. If they get infected, if things go wrong,
it just
they will sometimes have to ickendectomy. Not necessarily everything, but parts.
Okay.
Absolutely. And Zeke will tell you, they scare the hell out of you when you go in to sign the documents for that.
They've gone
tell you
necrotic.
The things that can happen. Oh yeah. They tell you, like, I don't know if they did that to you, Zeke. Did they not do that to you?
No, dude. They did the thing that they were like, okay, we want to make sure you don't want to have kids, because this process, while sort of maybe iffy, technically reversible, the way we do it, not a good chance. So make sure that you don't want to have kids. And I was like, I'm good. And they're like, okay.
Wow.
Other than that, no, they didn't. It was seriously like,
I got that whole talk.
Time to get my nipples pierced.
I got that whole talk, but I also got a whole talk where it's like, just keep in mind, this is an invasive operation. Things can go wrong. Like, here's a list of things that have happened, and stuff like that. And they followed up with me like every 3 days for about a couple weeks, just being like, do you notice any of this? Do you notice any of this? Is everything okay? Like, here's why you want to come back if you feel this, or this, or you see this, or this. So, I mean, it's an operation. It's an operation around a very important area.
Yeah. No, I got mine done. Like it was next to the Orange Julius in the mall.
Oh,
it was like a kiosk, like Sunglass Hut.
Yeah, they sold Koa's transition lenses. Actually,
that's funny. My glasses booth was actually next to Zeke's.
That's right. Yeah.
What was it called? Cut and Go?
There's a door.
I think it was Billy's Cut and Go.
There's a door in the back. It actually just connects the two buildings. Same guy. Turns out. Same guy. Yeah.
Actually, it was called the Cut and Nut.
Cut and Nut. There we go. And I believe they were running a deal that day. Get your jut cut, get a free Orange Julius next door.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Great
deal. The snip and zip. Oh, it's a good
snip and zip's good. Yeah. No, I have the same exact thing where it's the 1%. It's the horror stories that you hear about LASIK. Like, I kind of like seeing things.
You can't have your eyes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like and I don't mind glasses. I look very weird without glasses. Like, people are screaming right now.
Big same.
Yeah. Like, they are not happy with us.
No. I would say
I literally just lost 35 subscribers.
Yeah.
Than Ko does without glasses.
Oh, thanks.
I would say like JP has a glasses face.
Yeah.
Ko, you pull off the glasses, but you pull them off without them.
I appreciate it.
I think. Yeah.
I
mean, should I start? Like, hold on.
Start wearing glasses?
Should I start wearing glasses?
Why not?
Damn, sir. That's not a bad look.
Wear glasses. You do look like you just jumped out of like
he went from like 2 to 3 to 5 brain cells.
Well, it depends on who you're getting to judge the brain cells. Because for some people, it looks like you just stepped out of a coffee shop in Portland and you're about to talk to us about Life is Strange.
Oh, the beanie helps with that. Yeah. Or about how the 37 strains of coffee he tested this morning. There we go.
Yep. Corn conage. Corn Conage. We got a coffee here for Corn Conage.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
It's corn cabbage. Can you not read?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Corn cabbage. Anyways. Yeah,
I've only seen 3 people so far complain that this is actually a gaming podcast. So I think we've
that's
got
pretty
2 more
good.
before
I mean,
we hit
that's
quota.
that's pretty. I mean, we're going 11 minutes. So
I think we've trained them thus far. Like the first 15 to 20 is just us talking about what the fuck ever we give a shit.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
That's how it goes.
And then the next, hour and a half news, maybe 2 hours news, and then like maybe what we've been playing after that, if we have time.
That's correct. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. By the way, more random bullshit that's not games. Did you guys get your glasses, your spectacles for tomorrow, so you can see the eclipse?
I'm not in the path.
Oh, you're not. What do you even know your percentage that you're in terms of?
No.
Okay.
I know I'm way far from where it looks good, so I don't care.
We're right on the line here in St. Louis. They actually dude, I thought this was hilarious, and maybe I was misled, but because that happens from time to time when you get your news from social media. I saw that they updated the line like yesterday or the day before in terms of what it's going to be. Like NASA apparently redid some calculations.
Oh God.
And it actually changed it by like a couple miles. And so all these people that have like quite literally traveled the country and rented Airbnbs and shit are no longer in the total, the line of totality or whatever.
That sucks. That sucks, man.
It's just ridiculous.
And who are you going to get mad at? NASA?
Yeah.
You space nerds!
Yeah, it's real silly. But yeah, tomorrow actually will be kind of crazy. I feel like people are unprepared for the amount of traffic accidents and just potential hysteria that may occur from that going on. Because everyone's going to look up when you're driving. There's no way that happens and you don't look. Hey, what's going on up? Like that's good. That's just human nature. And then you're going to hit something. So yeah, it's we'll see. It should be a fun time. But I think I'm the only one out of the 3 of us that has. I'm in 99% coverage.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
take lots of pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk outside. The other thing that's also crazy on Amazon, people, because of how Amazon works now with its listings, the glasses they have sold, some are just like straight up shit glasses that don't actually like have the proper whatever. And so people have bought all of these glasses that are going to look at the sun tomorrow during the eclipse.
Oh no.
And like have a bad time. Like if you stare at the eclipse for like a second, there's potentiality for a pretty serious thing to occur to your eyesight and damage to your eyes. So yeah,
dude, there's going to be a blindness epidemic after this.
Yeah. It we'll see.
Or eye damage epidemic, I guess.
We'll see what happens with that.
Man, that's horrible.
It's interesting time.
Isn't that okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this is one of those things like you can make at home, right? You can make like a little like
you can get like one of those box
or something
things,
construction where you can like look like you can do it.
But here's the problem.
Is that not the same thing?
You could also just buy one.
Yes.
And when given the option of spending time working for something or buying it off the internet and having it show up in a box at your door the next day,
correct.
People are very likely to go with that option.
That's what.
And the worst part is
box,
that
that's what
here's the worst part about this. I wouldn't be surprised if these junk glasses, if you were super paying attention, you would be able to figure out on Amazon that you were actually buying from the wrong place. Like if you knew what to look for and knew what it looked like. But because people are on autopilot most of the time, they just clicked right through it. And because of that, I bet you that Amazon is just going to not have any liability and just be like, well, if they were paying attention, they would have clearly seen that it was from an unverified buyer, blah, blah, blah. If they mouse over that badge, you can see that means unverified. And it's just like
yeah.
And the reason I'm saying all this is that probably nothing's going to happen. And that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So it's, the other thing I'm not, is this only, I know that the eclipse will, and I know how the Earth works, but like, where else Where else can you see it outside of North America? Because I've only seen the map of like where you could see it in North America, but is it like where else is it occurring in the world? Because I don't know. There's a bit in Europe. Okay, so it's
Mexico.
Okay,
Mexico, yeah.
All right.
If it's going
It's
at
like a
the
bit of
angle, if it's only traveling in a vector across the angle that I kind of remember seeing on the news vaguely, it's not going to be in Europe or anywhere else. Like it's literally just going to
north.
It's just going to draw a line down through the United States and Mexico and then be off the Earth. So
I see what you're saying. I didn't realize it was that.
It's not going across the planet. It's going down it as it's rotating.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
Math.
That's right.
Geometry.
Yeah. I went down a deep dive in astronomy and bullshit 2 weeks ago. Couldn't tell you anything that I watched or read, but I felt really cool doing it. Felt great. I thought my brain was expanding, and now I couldn't even tell you what I watched. So, yeah, it's wild. Anyways,
Past JP loved it.
Yeah, past JP was super into it. Was really into it. Let's talk video games. Where do we want to begin? A little bit of a slow news week. Things have slowed down, as well as game releases. It's the brand new fiscal year. I think Monday is the start of the fiscal year. We're getting a bunch of announcements and trailers and things on Tuesday. The new Ubisoft Star Wars story trailer is hitting. There's a couple other things. I think Destiny is finally unveiling its like new expansion on Tuesday and what's going to be in that. So we'll have a little bit more news to cover with that next week, but there still is some stuff out and about this past week. We had the Newzoo report. I guess we could start there. This is the second annual game industry report. I actually went through this on stream the other day. This is basically a report that like ends up on an executive desk. And if you read this report, you start to realize why executives say and do and make the things that they make. So it was interesting to read in that regard. But the big stat that at least people are talking about from it is that, and I believe this report only is from the US and UK, civilized countries, nations. Really, I don't know why it's from the US and UK only. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's just where this company resides. The big data point is that 60% of all playtime in 2023 went to 6-year or older video games, which is kind of an interesting thing.
What was
to
the percentage?
Consider. 60% of all. I
think that makes sense.
Yeah, and they put out a list as well. They use a stat called MAU, or monthly active users, to rank all of this stuff. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the rankings by PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. There's a lot of different things to pull from here. One of the more interesting ones is the amount of free-to-play games on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation compared to the amount of paid games on the Switch. And you can kind of start to see why Nintendo keeps doing what Nintendo's doing. Because they can just make a shit ton of money selling things like Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario Kart 8, Pokemon Scarlet Violet, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Hogwarts Legacy still sells on their Super Smash Bros. As well, all in the top 10 when it comes to the monthly active users. And then you look at PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Fortnite at the top. Roblox is still pretty popular on second on PC, fifth on PlayStation and Xbox. I was kind of surprised to see League of Legends. I think I always poo-poo League of Legends even playing it, but it's still stupidly popular in the PC, being number 7 in terms of top 10 monthly active users. And also Sims 4 is quite high. That's number 5 on PC.
Wow.
Which you don't really think about. The other ones make sense. Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike 2, and Go, Call of Duty, League, Valorant, GTA 5, and then Rocket League. Rocket League was also a little surprising. I didn't realize that game was... I knew it was big, but I didn't realize it was, top 10 big. Yeah. And then for consoles, that makes a lot of sense. GTA is still like crazy. Number 2 on PlayStation, number 3 on Xbox. Makes a lot of sense why they haven't put out a new game and they just continue to make, online things to sell for all of that.
Rocket League is on all the except for Switch.
Yeah.
It's on those 3. Wow. It's in the top 10 of those 3. That's
Rocket League is
crazy.
huge.
It's very big.
I remember when it was huge. Like, I thought it was not that huge. It's still very big, apparently.
Yeah.
And Fall Guys making the top 10 on 2 lists on PlayStation and Switch.
Kind of surprising. I agree. Yeah. Free to play obviously helps that a lot, right?
Yeah.
You got to consider how much of that translates into people buying things. I don't even know what is monetized in Fall Guys. I guess you could buy skins. You could buy like the virtual currency, I suppose. The only single player game I think to crack this list was Starfield on Xbox, and a lot of that obviously is Game Pass, right? That's mostly Game Pass. You would think, but that's still doing well. That and Zelda as well. I'm saying for the non Switch, but yeah, Zelda's number 2. There's a lot of single player stuff on Switch. Some of the other things from this report, they kind of have like different bullet points and then back it up with data. And a lot of the stuff makes sense, but it's fun talking points when they actually have the data to back it up. One of them is that every new game release has to compete with Fortnite and Roblox, no matter what. It's always something they have to consider, whether there's a new Fortnite or Roblox thing coming out, and when they want to go and release. So if you ever wonder, I wonder why that got released now and not then, check to see if it's going up against anything Fortnite and Roblox. Because those are still massive when it comes to the content treadmill that they have.
Does Minecraft still push out new stuff?
Yes, but I think Minecraft. Ko, you play Minecraft the most out of us, even though you're playing.
Minecraft was bought by Microsoft, and there's absolutely still an active team development.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a fully developing Microsoft product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then one thing that was a little bit weird about this report is they make a lot of comparisons to stuff in like 2021 and 2020. And so much of that was just pandemic playtime. Like the average quarterly playtime has decreased 26% since Q1 2021. Yeah. Duh. Like, of course it has. Like, that makes sense.
What do we got to do to get these people to play games more often?
Yeah.
We need to create a new disease. All right.
Get the CDC on the line.
On it.
Yeah.
I'll need Jesus.
Playtime per title is trending down as overall playtime declines. 66 titles. This is kind of an interesting one. 66 titles, so 66 games, accounted for 80% of the playtime in 2023. And most of those are like what you're seeing on screen right now.
This is the kind of stuff where it's like you hear these numbers, and at first you're like, whoa. And then you think about it for a second, you're like, oh no, that lines up perfectly. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You don't really think about these numbers normally, but yeah, that's pretty much, that makes a huge amount of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Like it really sinks home for me when I go out in public or something and someone asks like in just random stranger conversation, like at the weed shop, No, that's a place I go very often.
Anywhere.
I'm just saying, it's a place I go very often.
You could have said the gas station. I mean, like,
it's just weed.
I have casual conversations all the time. Right, one of them, for instance, was my meth dealer.
Are you comparing weed to meth, dude? Come on now. Anyway, so I go to the weed shop to pick up our biweekly or bi-monthly order.
Yeah.
And the bud tender is like getting your order ready. He's like, so what are you doing? What are you planning on doing this weekend? Like, oh, just gonna chill out, play some video games. Like, oh, what do you play? 90% of the time, they've never heard of like even a top game. If I'm playing like a big, to us, like big hype game, they're like, oh, I don't know that one. I'm like, really? You've never heard of that? It's like, no, I play Call of Duty, like, or I play Nintendo game, blank, whatever. That kind of shit. And it's just like, it blows me away. Like, we are completely different, like,
dude,
in a different microcosm
100%
of the rest of the world.
That's why I love reading through this, especially to any audience on Twitch, because like I think a lot of times, and I do this as well, a lot of times broadcasters, viewers on Twitch, people on Reddit think that like whatever they're doing or whatever they're seeing played is moving the needle. It's not moving shit, man. Like you're part of like 1% of the 1%. Like it's such a small thing. It's we're the bubble is so small in the fucking ocean. Yeah. And so I like reading this stuff.
Like Lies of P or Baldur's Gate, like they're like, what?
Baldur's Gate does pop up in here a handful of times, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The top 5 titles out of all of the 6-year-old games captured 27% of all playtime. That's Fortnite, Roblox, League, Minecraft, and GTA 5.
Okay.
Fortnite had 8.4% of all playtime in 2023. To put that in perspective.
That's mind-blowing.
That's wild. Yeah. Roblox 5.9, League 5.2. That's a crazy statistic for me to consider just how many like angry people exist in the world.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like I look at that list and most of the games I have 0 playtime in. Like I've never played Fortnite. I've never played Roblox. I played like 3-4 hours of Minecraft. Like the only like Rocket League I played a little bit when it was big. GTA 5. I haven't played Rainbow Six. I haven't played fucking Call of Duty. None of that shit. No Nintendo titles, really. Yeah, I'm out of the loop, man.
Here's you're talking about new titles or titles that people haven't heard of. Diablo 4, Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, and Starfield from number 1 to number 5 in that list. Those 5 games accounted for 8% of the total playtime in 2023. Diablo 4. Well, let me actually, that statistic was delivered wrong. Those are the top 5 games of new titles with 8% of total playtime. Okay. So Diablo 4 was 1.4, Hogwarts was 0.8%, Baldur's Gate was 0.6, Elden Ring 0.3, and Starfield 0.3. That's pretty staggering for, I think, Elden Ring to be pulling that, because that game didn't even come out this year last year in 2023. It came out in 2022. So continues there. What else do we have here? This is a fun is a interchangeable word. 90% of new game revenue in 2023 was captured by 43 titles.
How much? What was the first percent?
90%. Yeah.
Okay, that one's a little wow.
Yeah. Keeping in mind that this report considers the annual Call of Duty release as a new game, the annual EA Sports FC, formerly FIFA, Madden, MLB The Show, those are all factored into this equation as well, which maybe even is a little bit more doom and gloomy. The one free-to-play title that actually captured playtime was the Finals. But it was absent due to being launched in December 2023 within this list. So I wonder if I can pull... I can't share this image, unfortunately, unless I pulled it up over there. But they have all the subgenres within the industry, like first person, third person. And they ranked all of those compared to previous years. And the only one that's growing in terms of playtime are third-person shooters. And I guess a lot of that is Fortnite. Is that's looped into kind of that. It was third-person shooters, which had a 27% increase, and also action RPGs. And that was because of Diablo 4.
Okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, Diablo 4 was 5% higher than previous years. They also list looter shooters on here, and that's down 11%. I started to think, like, what are the looter shooters outside of Destiny that have, like, a considerable player base that would factor into...
Do they classify, like, Tarkov and... Do they have extraction shooters, or are those looter shooters?
I don't know. They don't go into exactly
Dark and Darker, Tarkov.
Warframe might be in that, right? Like, I don't know how many active users Warframe has.
Borderlands, all the Borderlands stuff. There's still a lot of Borderlands players.
Yeah.
Tiny Tina now, too.
They have a little thing here, and it says the new Zoo Games taxonomy is a granular and cross-platform
Helldivers 2 is not. Remnant 2 might be, though.
Remnant might be. Framework for games on a large variety of elements that consist of over 250 variables across 12 unique categories. So, what else? Was there anything that was... Small number of publishers dominated the PC and console market in 2023. What is that? A group of 23 publishers was consistently present in the list in 2023. So, and then they have the top 80% of monthly active users was between 28 publishers and 34 publishers through all the months. July was number one with 34. What came out in July? I'd have to look at a list to see all of that, but larger amount of publishers for sure. That, of course, being 2K, Activision Publishing, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CDPR, Capcom, Epic Games Publishing, Mojang, Psyonix, Riot, Roblox, Rockstar, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Valve, Xbox Game Studio, and MiHoYo, which is the Genshin devs, if you've never heard of them. Trying to see if there's anything else that's super interesting. Game studios are relying on safer bets like established franchises to improve discoverability. Yeah, totally. The top 5 games of 2023 with no franchise by monthly active users. This is interesting. The Finals was number 1. The Finals was the number 1 game with no franchise before it. So new IP is another word for that, I suppose. By monthly active users. BattleBit Remastered was number 2. Ready or Not was number 3. Starfield was number 4. And Party Animals was number 5. Kind of shocking to see Ready or Not at number 3 there. I didn't realize it had that many folk.
Yeah.
They start to get into some statistics.
Now, quick question.
Yep.
Would Power World like fit in there? Or
Power World was this year. That was 2024.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so that'll probably be in next year's. I think Power World's mentioned in here is just like being a strong contender, but they don't. It's not ranked in anything. This is one of those headlines where, when you think about the amount of executives that have probably read this report and used this to move forward with, they have a bullet point that says, you don't need to stand out if gamers know your IPs. Remakes and remasters remain a viable way to use nostalgia to capture player interest. And it goes into talking about all of this. Final Fantasy VII Remake, of course, 7 million units sold. Capcom had 6 million of RE4 Remake. They talk about Konami announcing Metal Gear Solid 3 and Silent Hill 2 remakes. And the next stat, and this one's kind of crazy, especially if you start to think about all the games that have announced remakes, and in our neck of the woods, how true this statistic is just as streamers, because when a remake gets announced, what we do as streamers is, well, why don't we play the original?
Yep.
So the statistic is remakes can renew the popularity of their original games. Resident Evil 4's remake increased the original game's engagement by 57% after that game came out for the original game. So Resident Evil 4 remake was announced, like May 2022. It was fully released in March 2023, I think. But the statistic basically just has like a massive line of interest in that game every time they brought it up and had like a small video thing showing it off, or it was at a press conference or something like that.
So my game isn't out yet. Do you think I could remake it now?
Maybe, just put out what you've got and then just remake it.
Maybe.
Or you release the game, I play it, and then you announce the remake, because that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm very good at playing old games like, oh my God, I remember this game. And then a week later, we're going to make a remake of this game.
I like this from chat. What if I make my game release a pre-make?
Ooh, new industry term. Yeah.
I am remaking it before it gets there and pre-releasing the pre-make.
Sure, yeah.
I like that idea. I like the idea because there's been a couple of games who've done something of that nature before, and it's not a pre-make, but it's they put it out with a 2 or a 3 when there's no like original game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do the pre-release, pre-make, beta, and then we'll have that be the 1.0 road to early access.
There you go. And then here's the next slide, which I think you'll have to capture for your game. The power of transmedia. Film and TV adaptations increase the game's origin engagement by 35%. So, Fallout, for example.
So, wait, you're saying I should release it as Emberville 3?
Yes. That would solve a lot of your problems.
And that way I could just make 2 and 1 whenever I want to, and they will immediately get, okay, great.
And then you get an anime, potentially Netflix. That's probably
Called
your best bet.
Ember Runners.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll do well.
Make a song about staying at your dad's house or something.
Correct. Yeah. The next stuff is mobile, and this is where a lot of our audience is going to have their eyes glaze over, but they're important statistics to remember. Crossing into mobile gaming has allowed Call of Duty franchise to broaden and diversify its audience base. So mobile players tend to be a more diverse cohort depending on which game you look at. Our consumer research in 2023 showed that 40% of all Call of Duty players globally who also play on mobile are female identifying gamers. Also, by expanding to mobile, Call of Duty firmly established itself in the 10 to 20-year-old demographic who are likelier to play on mobile than console. So,
mobile's the future, man.
Yeah.
Mobile's the future.
They go on to talk about the statistics as well for EAFC launching on mobile, and it's just as strong and crazy as you would think it would be for both of those.
Chad, don't you have phones? Come on.
Don't you have phones, guys? That's right.
Wait, I have a phone. What are we talking about?
You can download them all. You can get them all.
What?
You can get them all.
Get the fuck out of here. You're lying to me.
This next one's really interesting because they're talking about marketing. And it makes perfect sense when you hear it, but it's another thing to see the data. So the title of the slide is hitting the right notes and timing and marketing helps put a title at the top of mind before, during, and after a title's release. And so they have Baldur's Gate 3 in here as a data point. And in July of 2023,
I really hope in this official document
they don't call it out
when
by
Larian
name.
decided to make public the coitus between the animal and the human.
They do not
It affects
call it by name. It's 100% that, though. Because July 2023, Baldur's Gate had its panel at PAX, and it went from 25% to 50% of awareness within
awareness
video games. And so it skyrocketed, and that was the release in August, between July and August. So definitely helped. Also shows Starfield. Starfield had their big event in August of 2023 and then released was that a month before? I think that was a month before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, their big showcase.
Yeah, in August of 2023, and it skyrocketed. And then they have one for Cyberpunk, actually, starting in April. And it's hovering around like 65% awareness. And it shows the price drops that were announced that moved the needle. The DLC release date was announced. It died down in August because Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And then when Phantom Liberty dropped in September, it was pretty much a steady rise, back up to around like 70% awareness. Ooh. So, yeah, the marketing trends are super interesting.
Are they doing anything with Starfield, or is it dead now? Oh, no. They're still updating it, and they have like content. They've got DLCs, expansions. They've got big plans for Starfield still. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that Starfield was actually a huge success.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, Starfield sucks. But, well, that's cool because it made a huge amount of money. There's millions of players, and there's a general population that's not very loud on the internet that really likes it. So, yeah, here we are. But yes, the short answer is for people like me who thought, this is there's some good parts and bad parts, but I want to see more. There are enough people interested that they are going to continue developing it. So hopefully, our expansions will look much more like Skyrim and a little less like Starfield.
It all goes back to that bubble, right? Because while our little corner of the industry was very vocal and upset about that, most people just played it. They didn't really. They just had fun. They got on Game Pass and had fun. Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. Like, before I was on Twitch, did I even check like critic scores or anything like that? I not a lot. I didn't. I honestly, like, back in the day, I looked at the game box and I was like, okay, what kind of a gameplay? Okay, third person action. All right, let's see. Okay, space, sci-fi. What kind of game is it? And then I would I'd look at it at the retail store, and then I'd go to like GameStop or the pawn shop to see, is like, hey, you guys got any used copies? And then I'd buy a used copy of whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then sell it back when I was done with it.
Yeah. Anyways, they have a couple other stats that we won't dive into. It starts getting really, really like marketing focused and spreadsheets and Venn diagrams and like super data driven shit where it not worth bringing up on a podcast. But if you want to look into it, it's called the Newzoo, Newzoo, PC and Console Gaming Report 2024. I think I have a link in my chat to it. I don't know if you guys want to copy that and spread it, but you could sign up and they'll send it to you for free. You don't have to pay for it or anything like that. But I know it got a lot of traction on the internet this past week because of a lot of the statistics from it, so it was worth bringing up. But in terms of other stuff, did you guys hear about this Roku patent that was floating around?
Yeah. So apparently they made it so and you'll have to help me out here. They made go ahead.
VideoGamesChronicle.com has the report that I'm reading, or the news that I'm reading. For those that don't know, Roku originally started off by making streaming devices and sticks, but in recent years, it started releasing branded smart televisions with the Roku software built in. The Roku software specifically features a screensaver, which during moments of inactivity, it appears and the company makes extra money by placing ads onto this screensaver. So they put in a patent that whenever the I jumped ahead too much. When TV is being used to play an HDMI device, such as a game console, the software that Roku has is no longer running, and it can essentially no longer make the advertising revenue through its branded TVs. So the patent that they're introducing would address this by showing ads on the TV screen anytime the HDMI device is in a pause state. According to the patent's description, the TV would study the signal coming in from the HDMI cable and would attempt to determine when the picture and audio have been the same for a period, i.e. when the game is paused. It would then intercept the HDMI picture and replace it with an ad, presumably until the HDMI picture changes again, i.e. when the player unpauses the game.
And the best part about this is imagine the player in some game putting up some big lore thing they have to read, and they're like sitting there reading it, and all of a sudden like a thing comes up for Jimmy Dean's sausage biscuits, and it's just like,
yeah,
oh, this is fun.
I hope that doesn't, I hope that doesn't get approved. I also hate the fact.
Another big thing is there's a lot of other options besides Roku these days.
Totally.
So let's see how it works out for them.
Well, the scary part is Roku is just potentially, I'm sure the other companies have thought of it, but Roku's the first to try to patent it, right? Yeah. So if they're doing it, everyone else is doing this and thinking like, why the fuck are we not doing that? And that's where it's like, oh, God damn it. You're going to have to start jailbreaking your smart TVs.
Although as consumers, how perfect would it be if Roku successfully patented this and then consumers hated it and they went out of business and then no one else could use the technology because they patented it.
Yeah. God. It's,
So in other words, go get them, Roku. We're all rooting for you. Good luck.
It's one of those things where you're just like, please don't. I hope no one hears this or reads this or knows this exists so it doesn't become the potentiality for the norm to occur.
Completely.
Yeah.
Is it possible these days to get like a decent television that's not a smart TV?
It's not a smart TV. We just got a new TV a couple months ago, and
I think everything.
I don't think any of them.
Yeah.
They all got gimmicks now. It's all about like what little OS are you using and what apps are included. Like that's the rat race between televisions is how much of that you can put in your TV. So I mean, outside of like, you could just get a monitor.
Right.
I mean, outside of something like that, I think
do they make huge monitors like that are affordable?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They make gigantic monitors for like production stuff and all sorts of things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's tough.
That might be the next step, like just a 60-inch monitor.
Oh, and I'll tell you this, by the way, for anyone looking at TVs, all of those apps and stuff for TVs, yeah, they still completely suck ass. They're slow, they're buggy, they crash. The OSs will. I mean, like on the new TV we got, like there's times you start it up and it just doesn't load properly.
Are you comfortable saying brand?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. I figured
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where they're not good. They're not good. We have two different brands of smart TVs, and they both have issues.
Got it.
I mean, like normal issues, just like slow hang up, things not working properly, the remote just not working for no reason.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah, dude. They kind of suck.
For what it's worth, I have LG OLED throughout the entire house. We own like 4 or 5, and I really enjoy the LG software. Yeah, the LG Web OS, I think is what it's called. I haven't had any major issues with it. Yeah, it's got everything I want with it. But yeah.
Hashtag ad, great recommendation.
I mean, the smart TVs
no, it's good. It's good.
They're great, but they're slightly annoying. Just with all the like.
Yeah.
Wait, you turn it on. It's like, hey, we got an update. Like, don't just be a TV.
Yeah.
Can you just be a TV, please?
No more just.
It's all I want.
You say 4 or 5?
Yeah, I mean, I've got one here on my desk, which is it's an LG C3. I've got one in Studio 2, which is the LG C1.
Oh, yeah, you have multiple studios. And
we've got one in our entertainment center, which is an LG C2, one in the bedroom, which is an LG C3. And then we have an Aorus. I have an Aorus monitor, Zeke. This is where you're talking about monitors. I have an Aorus monitor, which is not an LG-owned brand, but the panel is LG. Most like OLED panels that you buy these days are Samsung or LG panels.
Yeah, they're all same brand.
Yeah.
All just white labeled and white boxed.
Yeah.
Outside of their software and stuff a lot of times.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So anyways,
not one in the bathroom, casual. That's right, slippage.
Yeah, you've got iPads
phone
for that and phones and stuff for that. Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I tried. But art went up on the wall. Okay. It wasn't, we couldn't get a TV up there.
You
Please
can
settle,
project
Tar.
art on the TV, though.
That's what I said, Zeke.
It's like, why have one thing when you can have whatever you want? Get the Louvre playlist on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Louvre playlist.
So,
I don't know. It's probably a thing, right?
It probably is. You know what? With those little photo frames, I would not be surprised. And if
Probably.
there's not, you just said $1 million idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Do you have one on your fridge? No, I don't have a TV. Well, I have a TV on my fridge, but it's not an LG TV. It's a Samsung fridge.
You know, I'm sure these exist. I'm sure they do.
What's that?
But the idea of being able to buy a nice, like, well-framed monitor, and then it came with different art packs that you could set it on, that it would just randomly rotate through, like, well-known art pieces on your wall that look good. That's actually an awesome idea.
That's literally what the LG TV does. Yeah.
That's really what it does. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
not a TV. It's something you can hang on a wall, like a painting.
Oh, they make specific TVs that can be used to display art.
That's saying
like
they do have those. I'm sure they do have those. I've just never seen them.
I forget the name of them, but they exist. Yeah.
Is it cool? Like, does it work? Or is it the kind of thing where you
it's what you just
clearly a monitor?
It's what you just described. Is it cool? I don't. Eye of the beholder. Blah blah blah. But yeah,
Okay.
Samsung has a thing I think called the Frame.
Yeah.
Is
I think I've heard of that.
Both of your
Yeah,
chats
okay.
are erupting in. It's called the Frame.
Yeah.
Samsung the Frame.
I never.
Which reminds me of like Spaceballs the Flamethrower.
Yeah.
Samsung the Frame.
I've never seen one in person, but that's what it looks like.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. Interesting.
Could spot up.
That's a lot bigger than I was thinking, but right on.
They're fucking expensive, if I recall. They're not cheap. And they're 65 inch. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
They exist, though, for sure.
Cool.
That was at CES a couple of years back and kind of took over. So now, like, LG has that to where LG's got it to where when you are watching something and you go to turn off your TV, it will go to show art, and then you have to hit power again.
That's dumb.
And so you can turn that off, but yeah, it's a little annoying.
It's kind of wild because all these things that are kind of like becoming more and more commonplace these days, we didn't really grow up with, but they're super cool things that are happening. Like, for instance, one of the families we know, their grandparents have a bunch of picture frames around their house.
Uh-huh.
And they connected their picture frames to their kids, the people we know's accounts.
Yeah.
So what our friends do is they're constantly taking pictures of their kids, and they can even choose which frames to put them on. And then like they'll just like be feeding different pictures all the time. New, like every other day, they'll be sending new pictures over to their grandparents' house. That's just awesome. That's amazing.
That's what my brother does with his kids.
Nothing like that growing up existed for us. So it's very, very cool.
dangerous, though, dude. Like,
I guess it depends what type of
a newly divorced dad, like sending pics on Tinder and stuff like that. It's like, no, don't send those to my grandma. No, grandma, don't go home. Grandma, don't go home.
Sweetie, I do love them, but can we do something about all the penises in our house? I don't know what's happening, and I'm a little scared.
Sweetheart, you're not lighting it right. You got to take it from above so it looks fatter.
It's probably a thing that has happened before, unfortunately.
Anyway.
So, yeah. Wrapping up that story. Roku, good luck on the patent. We hope you fail.
No, we hope they succeed.
I'm sorry. We hope
you get the patent.
We hope you get the patent.
And then fail.
And
Yes.
then fail.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
We need to hill it. Get over the hill.
Got it. We talked about Harada-san last week when we brought up the Waffle House. He was on another podcast, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Game Makers Notebook podcast with Shuhei Yoshida from PlayStation. I think this is one of those things where I've stumbled upon this thought before, but it's cool when it gets reinforced by someone like Harada, who's in the game industry and has as many contacts as he has. The buzz quote from it is that he says younger players prefer team games so they can shift responsibility if they lose, which I 100% agree. But I think you can actually strike younger players from that. Cause like when I was playing, StarCraft 2, a decade ago, the ladder anxiety was like one of the biggest issues and potentially, I think the biggest issue when it came to that game's success, because like 1v1 in StarCraft, you were a nervous wreck before you hit Q. And then you got into those games, and then when you lose, you get like super fucking upset, but you can't blame anyone else except yourself. So that's why like League of Legends took off. That's why like Overwatch took off. That's why Dota took off, and even before all of that, right? Because you could shift the blame around.
Because I need to blame someone else. I am infallible. There's no way it could have been me.
That's right. Yeah. The full quote is, it seems to me that the way fighting games are played has evolved over time with generations. In Japan, and probably most of the world, my generation is a big one. It makes up a good chunk of the population. That made our society a competitive one. If you apply to a school or a job, there's always a lot of competition. Because of this, people in my generation prefer definitive outcomes, a clear winner and loser. This applies to folks in and around their 50s. But most young people nowadays are the opposite. They're rarely eager to engage in one-on-one showdowns. Plus, because fighting games pit you against by yourself against a single opponent, you have to accept all the responsibility. If you lose, you can't blame anyone else. In team-based shooters, when players win...
Wait, let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
You can definitely blame other shit besides yourself in a 1v1.
Not wrong.
Yes.
Not wrong.
That's true. We'll get to that. He goes on and says, in team-based shooters, when players win, they can say that they won because of their own contributions, but when they lose, it's because they got matched with a lousy team. Some games even give out individual awards to each and every player. Yoshida was adding, Shu was adding from PlayStation. Harada goes on to say, this is Video Games Chronicle reporting this. Harada goes on to say that he's been thinking about how to incorporate this cultural shift into the fighting genre to help make it appeal to the younger generation of players. It says, quote, I'm not saying we should suddenly turn a fighting game into a puzzle game or a real-time strategy game. He says, I think there's a demand for games like this sort of hand-to-hand fighting. But maybe we could include other ways of competing outside the main game. For example, maybe they don't always have to fight one-on-one. They could opt for team battles, such as 3-on-3 matches. I think we may want to incorporate this into the online mode's official rankings. Maybe team matches could have positions within a team, something like the order of teammates in judo matches. He goes on to talk about kind of Tekken's online mode and all that type of stuff. But
so it sounds like in his mind, he wants to make the game more approachable.
Yes, that's the thought, I think, behind all of this. And it's smart, right? Because
good for him.
Harada's a businessman. He wants his games to succeed. He feels if he can kind of crack that code, that it'll be successful. And I completely agree with him. I think Riot's kind of attempting to do a little bit of that with 2XKO.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Is that the name?
You just reminded me that's the name of that game.
I had to think about that for a second.
My day was going pretty well.
Exit.
Because 2XKO, it's a 2v2, and you can either control both characters yourself or have two people on a team. And so, you know, they're going to push that. They might have already actually cracked it. Harada might be playing catch up with that. So,
well, thankfully, he's got a couple years at least.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I think the latest from 2XKO is 2XKO. God, I fucking hate that name. They said that it was going into alpha.
I don't like you saying it. Like, I don't even like hearing it. Like it's so bad.
Yeah.
There's a phrase called rolling off the tongue. What's the opposite of that phrase? It's
having a stroke
on the tongue. I don't even. That's what saying that name. It just feels bad. It feels bad to say.
Yeah.
The mouth feel is negative.
I don't like it.
That's what it is.
I don't like it. Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Oh, a tongue twister. There. Yeah. That almost applies. Like if you try to say the name faster a few times in a row, like that almost applies.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't roll off. You can't really shorten it. Like there's so many reasons. It's just not such a poor name. I really hope it's a project name. And they change it before it releases or something.
I hope they lie and like, this was our second, that was a test name. The real name of the game. Yeah, you got to think that.
They just they do a trailer and it's just the name and then a red line goes through it. It's like, got him. It's actually called Project Awesome. I think it'd be a better name. I'd like that actually. I'd be fine with Project Awesome.
I think think that's definitely one of those ones that's going to get shortened like PUBG. Like it's going to be like Tukes or something like that.
Someone in my chat was saying Tuco is what people are saying.
Just say
Okay.
Tuxco.
Tuco.
Tuco is a badass name if you've ever watched Breaking Bad. Like that's
You know,
True.
wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. 2XKO. That's 2 KOs. Tuco.
Tuco. It might work.
Yeah. Not Tuxco. Tuxco sounds dumb and that doesn't roll off the tongue. Tuco, though, does. It's 2 syllables. It's quick. Like Tuco. I can see that.
Tuco the rat, you know?
I can see that. Tuco could work. They
Yeah.
should really lean into that.
What about
They
Zuko?
They
Like
should
two
start
X's?
calling it that publicly
Zuko.
whenever they refer to it. And that's how they're going to get that to catch on. I totally would if I were them.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, 2 times KO, Coco. I get it. I like that.
Yeah, Coco.
Yeah. Could work. Could work.
Watch that spelling, though. I got lawyers.
Man, you saw it.
He'll come
If
after
you-
you.
If you clip that, you'll see the wheels go.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
You be careful by it.
Yeah. Larian has found themselves once again in the news cycle. This comes from their publishing director, who has called the game industry's layoffs a, quote, avoidable fuck up. This was in a recent interview with
Kind
GameFile.
of went all in. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know, was it Mike? Is it Michael? Is that Dose? Dose?
I was not familiar with him. I thought it was
Yeah.
the guy, I thought the Cromwell. Was that
yeah.
guy. He's on Twitter all the time, but that's not, he does something different. So I don't think I'd heard of this guy before.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with his name.
Yeah, this is, I'm reading from the IGN story on it. He was speaking with Stephen Totillo from GameFile, who's a well-known gaming journalist. Michael Dowse, I'm not sure how you say his last name. He likened major gaming companies to massive oil tankers predicated on their ability to steer towards success. Should a company fail to plan accordingly while giving game developers proper financial reserves to pivot, fallout via layoffs, I don't know why I said that's weird, is sure to come. Instead of feeling like layoffs are an inevitable aspect of the gaming industry, Dowse argues that they are avoidable. But to prevent these, quote, but to prevent these giant operational failures that we call layoffs, they're an avoidable fuck up. That's really all they are. That's why you see one after the other, because companies are going to go, well, finally, now we can too. We wanted to do it for ages, everyone else, so why don't we? That's really kind of sick. And like, yeah, he's not wrong.
There is truth to what he is saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So many of
also-
those industries are.
there's
so many
also
those
a lot
companies
of-
are using it as an excuse.
Yeah, that's true. There's also a lot of special cases, but there's also a lot of truth in what he was saying.
Right.
So it's yeah.
I haven't read this quote, but he's talking about the bear scene, so I'm going to. He goes on to say, I mean, for Baldur's Gate 3, we really didn't do a lot of marketing. People talk about the bear scene as a big marketing beat. It wasn't. It was a communication, something we decided to do to showcase one extreme of romance in the game as opposed to the Carlock scene in the restaurant. So, yeah, that wasn't even something that I guess they planned, right? Because that Jesse is kind of responsible for that in a lot of ways, and that crowd at PAX, more so than maybe Jesse, or getting behind Jesse and them doing that. But yeah, a weird thing. And he's not wrong without, it's avoidable without question. There's some Witcher 4 stuff.
I found, go ahead with the Witcher 4 stuff, but I found something fun that we could look at after that.
Okay. Yeah. The Witcher 4 thing is very short. And it came from their latest earnings briefing over at CD Projekt. The joint CEO, Mikhail Nowakowski, said that Witcher 4 is, quote, not going to be The Witcher 3 in new clothing. When it comes to the risk of innovative elements, making a new game is always a creative risk, especially since we're trying to push new boundaries and explore new fields. That's something we haven't actually done before. This is a pretty broad paintbrush stroke for sure, but I cannot go into too much detail without actually talking about the game per se. I guess what I'm saying is that you should not be expecting The Witcher 3 in a new clothing. Good.
That's great.
Yeah, Great.
That's fantastic.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Yep. Bingo. What's really interesting is all the Witchers have followed that exact thing.
Sure.
Witcher 2 was nothing like Witcher 1 when it came down to it. Witcher 3 was drastically different from 2. So, I mean, what he's saying that like it's a surprise, but anyone that's followed Witcher is like, yeah, okay, great. That's kind of the road we're on. So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see what big updates are going to do next.
Yeah, that's great. Talk about it when it's ready. Show us when you're good.
Absolutely. Take your time. Take
Exactly.
your time. Please.
Sorry if I missed
Please.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry if I missed it, but is it beyond hope to maybe have a different Witcher? Perhaps, maybe.
I mean,
they've already said there's going to be a different Witcher.
yeah.
No,
It is.
Buddy, they've already said that Geralt's story
is
Geralt being the center of the story was the end of 3. Yes, they've already said that. That Geralt's story is concluded.
I'd have to pick up the new Witcher.
They didn't say he's not going to be in the future games, but he's not going to be like.
Damn it!
Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
By the way, random side note: I am 75-ish% through the second season of Witcher, and
Oh
wow, there's a lot of like I keep running into scenes where I'm just like, that's not how that happened. Like what? Like what is?
yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, season 2 goes a little bit. Dude,
okay. Slight spoilers, but I think I'm the last to this party, so I'm going to do it anyway, though.
Okay.
You know. But anyway, they get to a part that like freaking they just casually kill off Roach.
Yeah,
I was just like, I literally looked at my wife and I was like, no, I don't think that's how. That's not that. No. Like,
No,
what?
I'm not really up on the Witcher stuff, but isn't every horse he ever had named Roach, which
I think
indicates that
yes,
they have
but
died?
but there is a singular character throughout the normal ones. Yeah, it's
Okay.
there's like it's treated very differently, and I will say I expected it, but it's a lot differenter than I thought. Also, just the way some of the characters are and how they act, and like
yeah.
there's this one scene in the show last night that I looked over at Lena. It was one of the first times, because I don't run into this situation too much, but it's one of the first times that a character acted so far away from how I ever envisioned that character that I was just like, this is just bad writing. Like this is terrible. Like this is terrible. And I was actually angry. And I'm going to say what the scene was. Okay.
Let's hear it.
Ciri is at Kaer Morhen and trying to convince Vesemir to turn her into a Witcher. Geralt isn't there. He's concerned it will kill her, and he chooses to give her the concoction while Geralt isn't there. And I'm just like, that is the opposite of what he would have done. Like, what is this? Geralt could have walked back in, and he just would be like, oh yeah, about that girl you brought, she's dead. No, like, what?
Yeah,
Mind blowing.
Season
it was just
2
like,
is
it's
kind of
unbelievable.
I never picked up the second season, and I was wondering, like, what the first season everybody was singing like "Toss a coin to your Witcher" and that fucking song, and then fucking dead silence from Witcher people.
Yeah, for the second and third season.
Season 2, and I was like, oh, bad, huh?
We're not tossing coins anymore, Zeke.
Yeah.
We're tossing various rotten vegetables.
It's rough. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a completely
No.
unrelated
It
segue,
was
but
Witcher 3.
Now
right?
that I'm watching shows again, I want to talk about.
Did you
it.
finish?
I can't talk.
Did you? Handmaid's Tale? Are you done?
We did. We battened down the hatches. We pre-cried, and we watched the end of Handmaid's Tale. Dude, that show. I don't think I have watched a harder show.
Yeah. I agree.
Like that show was. There was parts where it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying this, but this is tough.
There
were a few episodes where we saw like this is what's next episode thing, and we would just look at each other and be like, can we just like,
yeah, oh yeah,
can we get the cliff notes of that and just not watch it?
Yeah, there's a couple of shows like I think Chatsing.
I'm watching Three Body Problem now. Sorry.
Oh, okay, nice. Man in the High Castle is tough to watch like that. Was it 6 Feet Under? Was that the show from like 2 decades
I heard that one about
ago?
the mortuary.
Yeah,
thing, right?
Yeah, that show is also they just put like a fucking anvil on your chest.
I'm gonna have to talk to you guys and chat and all of you, because now that I'm not doing my evening stream anymore, I'm actually like I have
got
time
shows
now.
Yeah,
I've got shows.
Tokyo Vice.
Things. For 5 years, I have had 3 streams a day, and now that I don't, I've got a lot of catch up to do. So,
dude, Tokyo Vice
one of them.
had their finale for season 2. The show's done. Watch it. It's everything that I would be interested in playing Yakuza for, but without all the mini games is kind of how I describe it.
I love you guys. Do me a solid. Don't give me your suggestions right now. Let's wait until let's
do it.
I'll come to you guys when I'm finishing shows, and we'll go from there. But don't have my note out right now. But thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of great suggestions in there. Thank you.
Definitely Tokyo Vice, though. I think you'd like it. Just watch that. Just jump into it right away. And then Shogun as well, which I can't. Shogun is just too fucking good.
Is it 7 episodes? Then that's it. It's done.
No, there's 3 left until
first season. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, so they're doing 10.
Yeah, there's 10 episodes for season 1.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. I'm just waiting for that because I keep seeing it every time. I'm like, not yet, Shogun. Not until you have all of them.
Yeah.
It's been tough to wait. It has been. It's been really tough because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things. Like not a zero complaints about that show. So
it's good. It's really good. Zeke, you were going to bring some up. Do you remember?
Yes, I linked it. Did you guys see the BAFTA list of most iconic video game characters? This was making the rounds on Twitter.
No, I did not see this.
Oh, I heard Laura won, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura.
Yeah.
Lara Croft over Mario, which I thought was the list is people like got real animated about it on Twitter and shit.
Well,
and I love it because it's an arbitrary argument. Like it doesn't really matter. Like, and what does iconic mean? But there's no fucking way in hell that Lara Croft is above Mario. No fucking way. And
I would agree with that assessment.
I'm not a Mario fan. Like I barely even play any Mario games anymore. But like for reals though, if we're being for really reals, come on.
I would completely agree. I mean, Lara Croft is big. Don't get me wrong. Arguably right close to second. But I mean, Mario's been around longer, has far more games, I think more movies, has had a TV show, has been in magazines, has like entire people like showing off their collections of all his stuff. The company, it's basically a mascot for one of the biggest gaming companies out there. Like, come on, man. It's not even a competition.
So there were
and the number 5.
3 I kind of agree with the list, but go on, Zeke.
You do?
I actually can see why.
You want to put it up on screen or
do they have their reasoning in the article?
No, I can put up the list. I have not read through the article yet, so I'm not sure. Here's the list. This is from Entertainment Weekly.
And it said a BAFTA Game Awards global poll that asked 4,000 gamers to choose the most impactful gaming character in history.
So BAFTA polls. So does that mean that it was it online or was it to?
Wait, are we talking about iconic or impactful?
Iconic.
I guess they're synonymous in this case.
It says iconic.
What? An iconic. Okay.
They use both words. They use both words in their article. They say iconic and impactful. So
okay. I don't know about this list, man.
Ranked in order, yeah, and that's the thing. It's an arbitrary argument. I don't think anybody's gonna throw death threats around for this arbitrary shit. But it is 4,000.
Well, I mean, you probably
took a cross sample of like 4,000 gamers, right? I don't know what that means.
You're gonna say Arthur Morgan from RDR2 is more iconic than Cloud from 7?
I mean,
a one-off character from a sequel.
Cloud is a one-off character,
but he's got 2 whole games. Got the original, he's got the remake. I mean, like,
I think there's if you factor in recency bias there, and you factor in just the size of like RDR2 compared
Cloud
to
also has movies,
Well,
those movies are
there's a
super
couple
niche.
of, like, the ones that really I look at them and go,
Okay.
fucking really? Like, okay, 5 Sackboy from Little Big Planet. That was a weird one.
This thing we're doing right now is exactly why they made this list.
Oh, 100%.
I know.
Yeah.
And Shadowheart.
There's
Yeah.
Shadowheart and Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3. Like, come on. Of all time? They're great. Admittedly, everybody, they're great. Admittedly. But iconic? Where's Pitfall fucking Harry on there? Come on now.
I think I think two things are happening. One, if you look at it as just a global iconic thing with people from all over the world saying yes or no, the list doesn't make sense. If you think about it in the scope of like, it's BAFTA, it might be just British people that were interviewed. It's also recency bias. So you see things like Sackbush up there, like RDR2, like a lot of that starts to make a little bit more sense. To me, at least.
Yeah.
But I could look at this and be like, I don't know why that's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a poll of 4,000 people is not not a big sampling of millions and millions of gamers out there, like varying ages and stuff like that. Like if you took a cross sample of everyone who has gamed and doesn't do polls like on the internet,
I mean, that's impossible to. Yeah, there's no way to actually get that stat.
It would be a very different list, but I still would argue that of all of them, Mario would be number one. Like, no question. Like, not on my list. My list of iconic, but like on the world global, like it's the same thing as admitting like who are the most influential bands of all time. Like the Beatles would be like number one, right? Like everybody would say like, why are the Beatles number two?
Well, no, Rolling Stones, obviously.
Right. Sure. They'd be number two. But if the Rolling Stones beat the Beatles, this would be the result. Like, what the fuck?
Wait, what? No, the point is that I bet you this is one of those situations when Cynical Co is like thinking that this list actually had Mario at the top, and then they delivered it, and the editor was like, you know what? Let's just like switch these top two.
Oh,
think so much more about it, and this is gonna be fun. Let's do this.
No,
and then they just like. And then here we are.
I don't like that. I don't like that guy. Cynical Code, no more. I'm not a fan of that guy.
Oh, and I saw someone post this on Twitter, and when they posted it with like pictures of the characters, like by them, and fucking Metal Gear fans were like, "You motherfuckers. That's Big Boss, you idiots. That's not even Solid Snake."
Oh, brother.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, brother. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know why I just did the Tarzan scream there. I think that's it for news. Dragon's Dogma sold 2.5 million as of April 2nd, so that was 5 days ago. And I think we can kind of use that to talk about Dragon's Dogma, maybe with some spoiler tags, because Co, you finished the game.
100%.
Do we need spoiler tags? Can we talk around it? How do you feel?
Well, considering the main story is garbage, I mean, we don't need to talk about
it. I mean, no argument there.
No, it's
no argument there.
Honestly, I feel like this game is, I wouldn't say it's garbage. It's just, it definitely doesn't, I would say, live up to the normal type of single player RPG story that we like from these types of games.
Yeah.
When I got to the end of Dragon's Dogma 2, I came to the conclusion that this is a standard like ARPG framework. We'll talk more about that later, but it has the story and delivery of a world lore Souls-like. Like there is actually some really cool, interesting stuff that happens in the Dragon's Dogma 2 world. Some of the stuff that happens in the whole universe is cool. Like what characters are and what roles they play and what their motivations are really interesting. And almost none of what I just mentioned is part of the main story.
Sure.
So it's like they tell you, like, a lot of times the main story and the characters will tell you what's happening, and they'll kind of have to explain to you the situation. But then it's almost more interesting what they don't say or what they're not talking about. And that is not normal for this. That's more of a Souls-like thing where you're used to having to kind of find your story instead of having it just delivered to you.
Right.
And outside of that, though, like, yeah, I just to get into it, I freaking loved it. I treated my Dragon's Dogma 2 RPG like Outward, where I was exploring every cave I came across. I think I ended with like 6 vocations maxed. I was chasing my perfect build idea, wanting to upgrade all of my equipment, get all the best stuff. It was really, really fun in that regard. And the cool open world progression feel, that carrot on a stick, combined with just the freaking enjoyable combat. I just loved the combat in that game. I loved playing the different classes in the combat. I only got frustrated with the combat, not because it was bad, but because I was leveling up vocations that didn't let me participate in the combat like I wanted to. And that was the most frustrating part.
Sure.
Like when I'd be playing an archer and I'd be fighting a golem or something, and I'd be like, I just want to climb on him and break the sigils, but I'd have to just sit there like ping, 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 and it's just like, yeah, I didn't even level Trickster. That there's reasons for me.
Oh, you didn't level it up. Okay.
Didn't level Trickster, and there are reasons for me why I had some issues with that class. But I did end up as Mystic Spearhand. I used augments from like 4 or 5 different vocations. And again, just loved every minute of it. There were so many unexpected moments in that game. So many cool little things. So many discoveries, like so many little dopamine hits. And yeah, it makes me sad because you just said that they celebrated like 5 million sales, right? Or something.
2.5, yeah.
2.5. And the only thing I can think about is, like, that could have been maybe 2 or 3 times that if they had actually nailed the performance issues and not had the microtransaction shit that happened.
Yeah.
There's a really, really awesome game here. And I'm kind of sad that when it came out, we didn't get to have that discussion. And instead, we're all just yelling about performance and microtransactions. Right. If anything, I really hope Capcom learns from this. And, kind of like how Cyberpunk did. Hey, laugh. I was gonna say, sounds funny, but CD Projekt Red stuck with it and turned that around. And I kind of hope that maybe this last big explosion over, honestly, let's be real, not a lot. Like, the thing that I'm hoping Capcom realizes is they didn't even really push the boundaries with Dragon Dogmas 2. In fact, if anything, they didn't even take the monetization of this game half as far as we've seen in the past on some titles. And even that created this giant outpouring of public negativity.
Yeah, it was like a perfect storm.
For that alone, I'm hoping, kind of like CDPR did, where they were like, wow, CDPR is at this point saying we cannot have that happen again with Cyberpunk release. Like, we can't do that again. I'm hoping Capcom looks at this situation and goes, okay, we need to at least change something to try to avoid this with every title we release in the future.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what we saw with Dragon's Dogma 2 was the entire pay-to-win discussion descending on them, regardless of what their monetization was like. They were just the latest target of the discussion.
Yep.
And the discussion itself is very important, and it's very important that we have it. It's a discussion between the gaming industry and gamers, and it's one that has to happen. Which is why I think, a lot of devs, in a case like this, it would have been wise to just avoid it entirely. Like, don't try to be, by inserting yourself with those mechanics, you insert yourself directly into that very negative public conversation. Yeah. And it very well shot them right in the foot.
Someone in chat brings up a great point, and I hate it because it's such a cynical statement, but it's actually the truth. They say, so just do it like Tekken 8 and release it 2 weeks after launch. That is why so many companies release the MTX and monetization after launch, so that none of the reviews, none of the YouTube, all of the hype can just go. And then once that dies down, you introduce the monetization, and not that many people talk about it.
Well, it's kind of like why, like I was thinking about this, like when you go to like a museum or an aquarium or anything like that, they put the gift shop at the end, you know, there's a reason for that. It's not like they don't put it right up front before you know, get through the thing. Like that's what this felt like. It was like gift shop before you get to the game here. Bye-bye. And you're like, that's a huge turnoff, homie. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing a discussion to have, because the kind of eternal argument, the eternal statement is Capcom will never do that because they make a lot of money off the microtransaction. And it's like, okay, that's cool. That's understandable. And they may make a lot of money off the microtransactions. But you have to keep in mind that most of the people that work at the behind of these companies, their job is to make money. And sure, they're probably making money off the microtransactions. But if you seriously don't think they're smart enough to realize that they're also affecting the sales on a global level, that the amount of discussion, negativity around this product, there's absolutely no question people did not buy this game as a $60 product because of all this stuff. I don't know the exact math and how many sales they lost from this, but I would bet you that they will lose more going the route of microtransactions in a game like this. Especially
they
when the microtransactions they're not even like, you don't even need to buy them. It's not even like an impetus to buy them. So I would be baffled if, like, as being a part of the public discourse that was involved with this and seeing it, any company that would put a value on that and not think that it is at least something that balances to how much they're making, that seems crazy to me. That seems crazy. I mean, you just said 2.5 million. I mean, who's to say that wouldn't have been 5 or 6 million right now if we had if the game had released, performed well, and not had microtransactions? We don't know that.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the giant discourse would have been a lot more positive than it was. Think if Power World had had microtransactions.
Yeah.
The people would have played it, been like, oh, this game's kind of cool, but it's pay to win. Let's talk about the pay to win, blah, blah, blah. Do you think the huge explosion of Power World would have happened if there was anything like that in that game?
It had AI conversation, though. You remember that?
It did, but they addressed that directly, and it turned out to be a little more gray than I think people were used to. That was a different thing.
It still carried it for sure, but yeah, I know.
But I will say that I feel like Power World's a good example of the opposite, where it's like, I bet you if they would have put in a huge amount of, or really any microtransactions on top of the price, I bet you they would have gotten enough flack to where it would not have exploded half as much as it did.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, like I wouldn't have played it. Gamer, but the microtransactions, I don't give a shit. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. I don't give a fuck. Like, if I want it, I'll buy it. If I don't, I won't. Whatever. The performance issues. That's what prevented me from buying it. Yeah. Was like, and the save game thing.
Real.
That was fucking unforgivable. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Very real. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. I
just showed a fundamental lack of cook time.
I have no data for this. I'm sure Capcom does. I would think it's probably performance issues over the MTX, but all of that combined hurt it regardless. There's no doubt about it in terms of sales.
Yeah.
All that being
I would
said,
think that is the case too.
I mean, I also want to state 2.5 million is very fucking good. That's
especially at $60 with a cash shop.
That's a very good amount of sales. Let's not forget that. Yeah.
I do wonder what they projected. Like, did they project that? Like,
they said this was
70.
The game.
I'm sorry. Damn.
This was the Capcom game that they said it was unannounced and that it would sell like $30 million dollars or 30 million units. What was the exact quote for that? Because everyone thought it was going to be Monster Hunter when that quote came out, and then
Chad is saying 175 M in sales. What is that about?
I think maybe that's what I'm saying. They said millions, 30 million units. It doesn't matter much, but I'm just curious what the Capcom quote was. If someone in chat can find that link for me, whenever they hinted at that, because they said it was an unannounced game that would sell a certain amount or make a certain amount.
I will say, so at $70 at 2.5 sales, I mean, that's around 150-ish million.
Yeah.
A lot more. How much would that be? Just like complete ballpark.
My brain's elsewhere. Zeke, that's you. Do the math.
175 million. That's 175.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay,
that's the number. So,
yeah, I can't find the exact quote. It doesn't much matter. The game did well. Would it have done better if all that stuff was not there and it ran flawlessly? Yes, 100%. Without question.
The real question is, would it have done better to offset how much they made off microtransactions? Which that's data that I would so love someday when I have a time machine.
They'll never release
like that'd be, God, man, that'd be so interesting. No, I mean, there's no way you can even get that data.
Sure.
Like, yeah, unfortunately, but
yeah,
blah.
Yeah. I don't even know if they've talked about like how the microtransactions have done in things like Resident Evil, because RE4 had that as well.
Why are we talking about this and not the microtransactions in Helldivers 2? That is a very different thing. That is a very different system, and it also the way that they do their monetization is different enough to, I would say, make it a different discussion from this.
Yeah.
And so also talking bad about it, I heard is against liberty and freedom. Like I've heard
that's true. That's
I'm
true.
not sure though.
We don't really deal with undemocratic things here. So
right.
Yeah.
That sounds like bug talk to me.
It does. Yeah. bugs and bots.
Yeah. So I have to ask, and this might be where we have to put up spoilers, or we can talk around it, kind of like what I did. What did you think of the end? Not the end of the game, but you know what I'm saying?
I see. I heard our experiences were very different. I loved the entire. I loved the entire ending sequence. I loved all that.
Okay.
But I also went around the world and killed a bunch of hard ass dragons right before I did it, so I got all my fun combat out of my system. So I figured out how to be able to take my time in the last part of the game, and by doing that, it was a kind of stress-free, fun experience where I just was able to do everything I want.
I got to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do I only have one spoiler alert? Whatever. Spoiler alert's on the thing.
So for those that don't know, if you care about Dragon Dogma 2 endgame spoilers, wait until that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this on the screen? Oh, there it is. It was like hidden somewhere. That was, yeah, what the heck? Yeah, so what was are you saying before the end of when did you get your fighting out? What do you mean by that?
So what I did was I got into the end game. The end game being the second world. I got the 2 on the screen, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Freaking loved that reveal. That made the whole picture make more sense.
Yes, I agree with that.
That was a very iconic gaming moment. But so I did that, and then immediately when I got in, chat started freaking out. They were like, okay, Ko.
Yeah,
you can't heal, you can't rest, you can't do this. And of course I got super stressed because I didn't want to spoil what was going on, but I also didn't want to do it. So thankfully I had a couple very trustworthy members of my community that had gone through it recently. And they were like, okay, here is the deal. Like, and I trusted them. So, they gave me a few blocks of like, no spoilers, but you have a limited amount of rests. You have a limited amount of time. And if you want to make sure you do everything, do the very top of the map and the very bottom of the map first and work your way in. And I was like,
so you had some direction. Okay.
I was like, all right, let me do that. So, I did the elves, I did the island, I did Vern, I did the other thing. I unlocked the final beam, if we'll call it.
Okay.
And once you've done that, you're good. At that point, everything stops.
Time stop? Oh.
Everything stops. The only thing you have is a 12 rest limit. That's it. And then after that, if you try to rest, the game just says, nope, can't do that anymore. Go touch the beam.
Okay.
So that's it. So I did everything up to the final beam. And after that, there's still a bunch of optional stuff to do. There's like 4 dragons that drop unique armor. There's
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry.
Stuff.
Are you saying beam or bean?
Beam.
Beam, as in no beam of light, giant beam of light from the heavens. Beam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are you? Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. So basically, I did everything to the final beam, stopped the time limit, and then spent like 45 minutes just killing unique dragons to get armor and stuff.
Got it.
And then once I had done that, I was like, I am done with this game. I loved it. Let's go watch I think I said do the final fight at the time, but then I did the beam, and it turns out the beam is just a big cutscene.
Yeah.
So, which I was kind of okay with.
So,
But I will say, chat quickly told me where it's like, JP did this expecting a fight and he was pissed. And I was kind of like, yeah, I could see why people like, I could see why you'd want like a huge final, you know, and you don't really get that. So,
pissed is a very,
anyway, go ahead.
I would say your community doesn't know how to know if I'm angry or not. Pissed wasn't.
I don't. I've been doing this show for almost 10 years and I still don't.
I was going to say, I don't really know how to tell. But...
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing is, did you do the quote big dragon fight or did you just stab him in his heart?
Well, I did the fight.
See, I never saw the fight.
What I didn't know what I didn't know what to do. So I just rode his ass to the arena, and then I had a big fight, and then like the world was going to reset. It was going to recycle.
Right.
And then in that scene, the World Forger showed up and was like, "Yo, so you got an option? Just saying." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I talked to her a little bit.
Okay.
And then the scene pops you back onto the top of the dragon.
Oh, and it. So
I don't know if you can, but I think you can just like keep doing that until you're finally like, oh, see, because what I did is I kept going down to his heart.
Yeah.
Thinking I was going to stab his heart.
Right.
So the first time I'm like, chat's going, stab, stab, stab. And because it's an emote only. So they're putting like swords in chat, being like, stab the dragon, stab the dragon. And I'm sitting here going, I can't stab the dragon. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until the second time that I realized like, oh, I have to use the sword in my inventory. Oh. You know, so I didn't realize they meant stab, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like
the dots.
That I lucked into everything that you're like supposed to do because it wasn't figured out like how you had it described to you.
Is we went through, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, how this game is more enjoyable from a world building perspective. Because I didn't really go through extra quest stuff. But I did go through significantly more world building by doing what I did.
Right.
So like, and that for me just like was, you know, I enjoyed it all. I got to the end. I was like, this is great. You know, final flight. Awesome. So I totally see through your point of view where it's just like, you missed a lot of stuff by doing that.
I missed some things.
You missed some things.
And
yeah.
The stress that you encountered when Dragon's Dogma 2 starts, let's go with, that stress never went away for me. So the entire like second half of that game, I was just like, fuck, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta warp over there. Can I get back there in time? I gotta fucking hurry.
What's interesting is the game in some way kind of tries its best to hint at you what's going on, but it just does such a poor job.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing is that a big RPG like this, if you're going to do something like a global time limit on your gameplay, I feel like it needs to be real obvious and like really well explained.
Yeah.
And like many things in this game, it's not.
It's not at all.
It's just not. And there's lots of things in this game that just like, you just kind of have to figure out or like learn. And end game mechanics is not one of those times.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope they maybe, we actually had a big talk about it after I had finished it. And there were a lot of people in chat that had played the game solo. And they were just like, yeah, that whole last part of the game, like there were a few people that were just like, oh, I just rested all the time and ruined my end game.
Yes, that's
they were just like, I didn't understand how it worked. And I was just resting like I normally do. And then all of a sudden, like I tried to warp somewhere and it's gone. And I'm just going, what the hell happened? And it's like, you know, those situations suck. Like no gamer wins when they fail and they don't understand why they failed. It's one thing to fail and be like, oh, that sucked. Oh, that happened. That's I'll get better next time. But to fail and then just be like, have no one to ask, have no one to talk to, and just sit there staring at your screen like, what happened? Why did that happen? That sucks. So I do feel in a lot of ways when a game does that, it's kind of on them to give the player enough to do that. Now, that being said, arguably there is a lot of nuanced language that kind of hints about this stuff. Like the time being limited,
talks about it,
the world is dying and not dead, things like that. The fog constantly moving on the map. There's things where if you're super attentive, you will notice it.
Totally.
But again, those mechanics are great for side content.
Well,
stuff that you can totally screw up is generally a little bit better where it's like not going to ruin your 50+ hour playthrough just because you didn't understand it.
A perfect example of everything, like a perfect microcosm of everything we're saying. You can go back 2 episodes on the show when I introduced the idea of what the dragon plague is. And because I didn't know what it was, right? So I brought this thing up like, yeah, I introduced it as like, yeah, I can brick your save because that was like the buzzword, right?
Yeah.
In actuality, it's a very simple thing to not have happen and to remedy it from ever happening to begin with.
The game hints at you at how to do it.
Yeah.
It becomes obvious when you know what to look for. There's a literal item that will revive towns in the game.
Yes.
And apparently, I haven't confirmed this, but apparently in some cases, people are reporting that after their person has gone off in a town, X amount of in-game days later, and the people are back.
Oh, they just respawn naturally? Okay, yeah.
I've heard that happen. I don't know if that's a bug or something. I don't know, but I've definitely had people in chat be like, yeah, I went back to this town that was blown up and everyone was just acting like nothing happened.
A lot of that is, yeah. So
in other words, it would have been a lot better if we had kind of, after that whole thing, there's no question it got spoiled. I mean, people trying to help,
right.
There's so many people that I kept getting told like, hey, Co, I'm not going to spoil it, but maybe you should check their eyes, huh? And it's like, why is that, chat? And of course that leads to all the questions that, yeah. But I will say,
streamer issues in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. But even that, like all of that being said and everything, I will say that, although I do think it could have used a bit more explanation, I loved the whole mechanic. Like, I think that's cool crazy ballsy what they did. I think it's cool. I do think they could have explained a little bit better, but I like the idea that it became this kind of social phenomenon of people being like, my whole town blew up, oh god, you need to know this. Like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with everything you said before I think I'm good spoilers. Are you good with spoilers? Can I take spoiler tag off?
Okay. I'm done.
I'll take spoiler tag off. Yeah, I agree with everything you said before. For me, the combat of this game was the highlight. While you ran around and did quests, I didn't even take a lot of the side quests. I just ran around and fought shit. I was like,
that's the sandbox, man.
I'm going to walk west, see what happens, and then stumble upon so much shit.
A good way to describe Dragon's Dogma 2 is I could have played this game and not done the main quest or any side quests and probably had a great time.
Yep. 100% agreed.
Which is, again, weird for this kind of game. Like, you normally get these deep, mechanic-rich, stat-heavy, itemized RPGs. Like, you expect that girthy main story, right? The kind of, like, to partner with all that. You just don't really get that in this game. It's just, it's there, and it's okay, and it moves you around the world, and that's great. But it's kind of like, there's a lot more fun things to do and see in this game.
Yeah. I really, really hope that they do some sort of like Dark Arisen thing with the DLC.
Oh, completely.
Because the combat, like I said, like I was just saying, it shines in this game, and the idea of going into a dungeon that's like repeatable and you can farm items and.
I think if they made a DLC that's like a roguelite mode or something, with like real progression and itemization and enhanced vocations and oh man, dude,
it'd be so fun.
I really hope they lean into the gameplay aspect. Also, a little bit of a lore thing here, and I'm not going to talk about it because the spoilers are down, but I have to say that after the true ending, there's a lot of pretty damn decent questions. Like, there's a lot of things that I really want to know as somebody who was like very much musing about the different characters, their roles in the world, how they related, how they functioned. Like there's the ending opens up some very interesting paths they can take.
Yep.
This franchise.
Yep. Hope they do that DLC. They were doing that
like
poll,
you said.
So
like you said, 2.5 million is not bad. The dev team for this game is, from what I heard, one of the smaller that Capcom uses. Like if you compare the length of the credits on Dragon's Dogma 2, apparently it's like a quarter of Resident Evil or something. I just heard that on a random YouTube or something. We'll need to confirm that. But it's I hope that these sales, even with all the negativity, shows Capcom where it's like, yeah, lean into this, guys. Like, people want this, people like this. Like, even with all the issues and performance stuff, you still got a lot of sales. Like, please lean into this.
Yeah.
It's good.
Hey, if they knock it out of the park with the DLC, you can definitely bet on like a resurgence of this game. If none of those problems exist. We were reading that report earlier, so they could do that. And if they nail that, I could definitely see it. A game that we talk, I just love.
I love
the
that
natural
stuff.
comedy of this game is it makes it fucking hilarious.
My god, dude! Seeing things just like you zap something, you do a hurricane, and the creature dies.
Yeah.
And the body just ragdolls into the hurricane, and then the hurricane dissipates and it just flies away.
It's the natural comedy that the game creates is 10 out of 10. So cool. Yeah. That's Dragon's Dogma 2. Zeke, are you playing this in your off time? Or are you staying away till it's like patched?
Yeah, probably.
Patched?
If I do, I will end up picking it up before the end of the year because I'm sure with what I've heard, it'll be in the conversation for top 10 of the year. Probably.
I think it will be for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I think it will be.
I'll probably pick it up at some point, but I'm in no rush.
Okay.
And also like my brain works in a very, it's bad and good, in a bad and good way. I forget most everything I've heard about something.
Sure.
In a few months. So like all that shit you just talked about will be fucking, I won't remember a single fucking thing, and it'll be nice and fresh for me by the time I get to it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Sounds about right.
That's the way to do it. Zeke, we'll jump over to you. Bioshock Infinite. I think we've kind of all talked about that game, but I know you're playing it. Is the playthrough going good?
I finished the playthrough. I played it on easy.
Okay.
The reason why I picked it back up again is because it was the first game I ever streamed, on Twitch.
Right.
So
Bioshock Infinite?
Taking a look back.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Bioshock Infinite came out in 2013.
And here's where Co realizes how old that game is, and we all just have a little bit of a sad time.
Yep, not gonna lie, that is exactly what happened. I was like,
March
Zeke started. Was it new?
Yeah, it was pretty fucking new. Yeah, March of 2013 was when the game released. So it was the first game I ever streamed, and going through it again. Man, it just re-solidifies, like, Bioshock is my favorite series. And I'm sure a lot of people, like, the debate goes around, like, what's your favorite, what's the order of your favorites? Like, and I would say the majority of people who really love the series would say 1, 3, 2 would be, like, the order of the games, like, in writing and immersion and all the, the shit that makes Bioshock good. And it doesn't really matter. What mattered to me is like just getting back into Columbia and how much care that they took making this world and making it immersive and the story and making it like mysterious and all the debates that go like that it creates. Like it does insist upon itself a little bit. Like it's a little, it can be a little pretentious at times, but it doesn't bother me all that much. And of course, like it was a little rough because I didn't remember. Like I remember there were some some touchy subjects and shit like that. I don't remember like exactly how much of that bullshit was in it, but there's a lot. And I totally like 10 years ago like wasn't hip to like how much I listen for those things now.
Yeah.
But like during it, like you have to tell, like, I felt like it was necessary to tell the audience, like, this is a bad guy. He's saying bad guy things. There are bad guy things in this place he built. Like this is like, yes, the only person who are allowed to say racist things are racists.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what this guy is, like the leader of this the creator of this world. And so that was a lot of that in there, but it's still well done. It's still a really fucking great game. And I actually never played the DLC. And I never played the Burial at Sea. And I heard it was like, because I did play the combat one, and I was like, combat's not the star of this show.
The Burial,
it's fun, but it's not the star of the show.
That's where it like revisits.
Yeah, Burial at Sea is it's they really start playing with the dimension thing and the time thing.
God, I'm trying to remember if I played that.
Yeah, the ending is one of the more like final endings of any franchise I've ever played.
I think
it's one of those endings you complete it and you just like stare at a wall for a couple hours.
Well, that's what I did with the base of Infinite for me. Like the I mean, I guess spoilers. I could put up a tag. It's one of those weird things. I'll put just the end of Infinite when you're when the 3 Elizabeths are there and like the baptism
Yeah.
thing happened, like that's one of my favorite scenes in video games. Like it's such
For real.
it's
Though.
such an awesome moment for all of
Crazy.
that. It's great.
I don't even like multi-dimensional stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, it was so
Loved
good. So well done.
Yeah.
Just the way it ties everything up, and the presentation and the reveals and the like. It's one of those like little total package
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Someone in my chat was like when the Lutesses came up, they're like, "Oh, I hate these guys. They're so annoying." I was like, "They're one of the best parts of the game for me. I love those
Same.
Lutesses, man.
Oh yeah, they're
They're
fantastic.
fucking awesome."
Yeah. 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 This game.
And Bird, by the way, Bird. If you guys, whoever was asking, I put up a poll during the playthrough, and we
Smart.
picked Bird over Cage.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what does that affect? I don't even remember.
I don't know if it affects it.
I don't know.
I think there was like, I remember when the game came out, there was like a debate on what it affected, but I think they came to the conclusion it was nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it does
Right.
anything, and I think that's
It does
kind of the beautiful part of that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the choker brooch that she has.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, I'm
But
removing
it
spoiler
got,
text.
it got me really like
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I left with was how jacked I am for fucking Judas. Like
Yeah.
I am
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
dude.
in. I'm so in. Like this got me. I was like, that's right. Ken Levine is a fucking god of writing. Like I love this shit. Like two
Yeah.
of my favorite writers. Like he's one of my my 2 favorite writers. Him and Neil Gaiman like are the ones that like I do any of their stuff. I read it or play it. I'm just like it really clicks with me. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's really
cool.
funny because Judas came out and I was talking to someone about it in the game dev industry, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Ken making another, underscore shot game, big surprise." And I was like, if he made anything
Big
else,
surprise.
I'd be angry. I know. If he did something that wasn't, Levine shock, I'd be pissed. Like
Yeah.
that's what he's like the god. He makes amazing games. Like, please make all that for your whole life. Yeah, it was kind of like I don't, a lot of people have tried to do that level since then, and there've been some good ones, but none of them have really hit. So wild.
yeah.
I was curious.
Prey being probably the closest.
I had forgotten how important, like pivotal the role of Elizabeth was in this game when it came to single player story games and having a like buddy when you're walking around and her like constantly flicking you the different ammo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cause you think like this game and The Last of Us 1 were kind of like 2 of the big originators of that. And they both came out in 2013. I don't know if there was one before that kind of led into this. But
I gotta say,
shaped
like-
so much of like this type of game moving forward.
It does like the addition of an NPC that follows you, but it's not an escort quest. They help you, but it's not like super invasive. Like I'm sure there's people who are like, it's annoying when she's like hook or catch like every 5 minutes, whatever. That didn't bother me.
Yeah.
It made the game feel less lonely,
Yeah.
which Bioshock was supposed to be like that. You are like alone. That's the whole like it was a totally different vibe. This one, I think it benefited greatly from having someone on your side, like talking you through this mysterious shit that's going on.
Yep. And you can kind of see the origins of that. I mean, if you go this, Last of Us 1, then there's Last of Us 2, God of War was that entire thing with like the buddy single player.
Forspoken,
Sure, yeah.
big example, great example.
Huge example, really. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to look back at those games and kind of trace the origins of all that stuff. Chat was saying like obviously Half-Life did that with Alex in episode 1 and 2. There's a bunch of different stuff, but yeah, it's a great game. And it's also not that crazy long. Like you said, you did it in 2 streams. It's what, like 10 to I remember doing this game. I've mentioned it probably more than anything on this show. This factoid about me is probably the one thing I've hearkened on the most. I did this game in a single sitting when it first came out in 2013, and it was like one of my favorite single sitting experiences because it just from beginning to end, it just goes. Like there's nothing, there's no lag time. It just always fun. I love doing that type of stuff. It's hard to do that these days because there's so many ups and downs, I think, in games, because games are just so much bigger in a lot of ways.
And also like the fact that like not every game does voice acting with lore, but like, and you look like in this particular game, you look forward to every single one. Yeah. Every single time you pick up one of those Vox phones, you're just like, oh, awesome. Let's hear like what else is going on and shit like that. Like not every game can nail that, but this one is one of those games, like all the Bioshocks nail that shit. Like, oh fuck, let's hear. And you hear that, like, you know, the voice coming through. Shit like that. It's great. It's makes you want to find all of this stuff.
Yep. It's good stuff. Glad you revisited it as well, because I think it does amplify the excitement around Judas for sure.
For real.
Yeah. For real. Wait for more info on that.
Yeah.
Also, we had I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our consistent discussion about how Elizabeth may have changed the adult cinema world. The Rule 34 explosion. One might say. Someone put it best. Let me see if I can remember this. Someone put it best. Elizabeth walked so Overwatch could run.
There's 3-year lag time.
Entertainment industry.
Yeah. Dude, the world is sometimes so weird. That's the second time today I've read or heard something about Overwatch Rule 34. It comes in threes.
Well, JP, the day is young. I was gonna say
it comes in threes. Young. Just we'll see what else is out there. You guys want to hear about Stellar
There's always
Blade?
a lighthouse shaped like a penis.
That's correct.
I love Cole's like, I disapprove, but then I approve.
Yeah.
But I do.
That was great.
Hey, let's talk about Stellar Blade for a bit.
Speaking of penises?
Yeah. Speaking of...
I'm just kidding.
Speaking of something, Stellar Blade. Code, did you play this yet? Do you have plans to play the demo?
I haven't. I'm looking forward to eventually playing it. I don't know if I'm going to play the demo, but I'm definitely going to play the game. So I may get around to the demo soon, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Straight from the jump.
I did not realize. Okay.
Straight from the jump. The game.
Definitely thought you were taking that on and off. And
that's so you unlock hard mode in this game by wearing no armor. That's hard mode, and that's what that skin was. Right. That's hard.
That
mode.
one there.
That's hard mode.
That's hard mode.
Yeah, you don't have shield.
Ask you this.
I am not going to make the obvious joke. I just like to point out to everyone, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Like, is it like, does she have like a
she's got a skin suit on, kind of.
It's a skin flesh colored suit, right? It's not like see-through or it's not missing.
Sure. I think they leave it up to
the reason why I shit you not, the reason why I ask is because I watched X-Men 97.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I watched whatever episodes and I went back and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch the original series again.
Yeah.
And then you look at Jean Grey's outfit, you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Back
true.
Like she wore like a flesh colored outfit.
Yeah.
And it looked like she was wearing like this really skimpy, like bikini, like one piece thing.
I mean, that's by design.
It wasn't. So I was wondering if that's what that was.
Yeah. So yeah, Stellar Blade put a demo out. And like, yeah.
Oh yeah. For the record, I was immediately Googling Jean Grey outfit. This is research for the show.
That's correct.
Just being professional.
The entire time I played this game, chat kept asking me to look at the moon.
Oh, I saw Lyric's clip.
So that kind of like, that's how I would say this game went. That all aside, I enjoyed mechanically, but I have seen amongst kind of my community and some other streamers as well, there seems to be a little bit of a split in terms of the gameplay. Some people enjoyed it, and some people were like pretty against it, citing a lot of input delay. And the fact that it like didn't feel very good.
Those were the two words that I kept hearing that was a bit concerning. And what's even weirder is I think I remembered, what was it, Max Dude?
Yeah, Maximilian Dude was one of them.
Does he think there's input delay?
I think he was in camp input delay. Yeah.
Okay. I must not have been him then. I remember a large streamer quote tweeting somebody saying there was delay and being like, I didn't feel any delay in this. Because that was the point where I was like, is it a computer thing? Is it a hardware thing? Like, what is going on? Because there were people that were like adamantly saying there's clearly delay in the demo, and other people saying you're crazy. There's like zero delay. So it sounds like the delay may be technical.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's making the confusion. It's adding a lot of confusion to the discussion because people are arguing different manifestations of the delay.
Yes. So there's 3 graphics mode in the game. It's like balanced, performance, and quality. And I think if you play on that, I don't know the specifics, but those different modes have different input delay in them. I want to say I played balanced and it was fine. I didn't really struggle at all in the game. But I didn't sit there and like test it.
It's PS5 only?
Yes. Yeah. I played performance mode. Okay, maybe I played performance mode. Yeah, it's definitely got some stuff on it.
That the players need to put their TV, the creators said the players need to put their TV in gaming mode to help with input delay. I have no idea what that means. But more importantly, somebody else said the delay is gone if you turn off an option in the PS5 settings under HDMI.
Oh, that must be the HDCP setting. And I do have that disabled. So maybe that got rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but apparently the TLDR is apparently if you feel delay, mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably real delay, but it's probably something you may be able to change a setting to fix.
Yeah. Yeah. That being said, I really enjoyed the gameplay. I'm excited for it. They have like I could show the boss fight. It felt like Lies of P, but like,
I'm going to tune out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. It felt like Lies of P, but not like it's got different things going on that aren't in Lies of P. But the combat feels great.
Yeah.
It also does.
A few things.
Yes, exactly. The demo's only about an hour, so it's super short. It's got the boss at the end, and then there's an optional boss that just puts you straight in front of the boss, and you get a bunch of new unlocks and like character progression stuff, so you can test out a character further in the game. She's got a bunch of different outfits. The outfits have different stats tied to them, as you would expect. But yeah, I had a really good time with it. I'm pretty stoked. It's anime as fuck. Like without question, it is a anime fucking like you're doing everything you would expect in like an anime fighting sequence. That's all happening without question. And then there's also things where you can, put the character underneath the waterfall. And chat really was into that. They really liked when I would take a little AFK break underneath the waterfall like this. So, yeah, short and sweet. There's not much to add to it. One thing that
for some reason they were spamming.
JP, turn around. Why you're not turning around right now?
The other thing that a lot of people are surprised, I guess, for those that don't know, the mobile game Nikke, which you might have seen as it's a mobile game where when you touch the iPad, the characters get out from underneath cover, turn their entire ass to you, and then shoot guns, and their whole body just jiggles. Oh, that's the same developer of this game.
We also call that Strippin's Game.
Yeah, Strippin's Game. That's right. Game. In a lot of ways, Nikke probably paid for this game to exist, funded this entire project. And you can also very much tell that this is the Nikke developer when you look at it for 5 seconds.
Okay, we were just talking about we were just talking about Levine, staying in his lane with the shocks. If the Nikke devs are doing something right, you just stick with it. You just if you're good at butts, you just keep butting.
You just keep doing
it. If that's what we're going to see from these devs, I mean, there's a market for this.
Yeah.
And more power to them, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think next we need a butt puzzle game.
Sure.
And then a racing game with butts. I love a fighting butts.
Go. We can talk. I have these games. I have played these games. I can give you Rex for these games.
I'm sorry, you can give me what?
Rex.
Recommendations.
Oh,
Rex.
Rex.
Yeah.
I just heard that.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in every third-person game that I play, I usually default to like a hot female character because that's who I want to stare at for like multiple hours. I'd rather stare at that butt than a male butt.
Sure,
because I like female butts better.
Yeah, fair enough. Big
you weirdo.
Big Bayonetta.
I know,
vibes.
God.
Big Bayonetta vibes from this, Zeke.
Big Bayonetta vibes.
Yeah, a lot of Bayonetta vibes.
Hell yeah.
A lot of people are also making Nier references. It feels a little bit like Nier.
That game also had a nice butt.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think the developer was out there saying there won't be any MTX or microtransactions in this or paid DLC. I think that's important.
I was
going to
drop like $300 on new clothes. Missed opportunity.
They're going to have a lot of
missed
outfits.
opportunity, man. Of all the games that needed monetization,
they're all so.
Damn it!
These are some of the other outfits in the game. That's very much Bayonetta inspired.
Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's cool.
What's wrong with her oviries? Sorry.
Yeah, her stomach's got like LEDs on it.
They're like glowing.
Yeah. That outfit also, you got to have the underboob in it.
Yeah,
nice.
Dig it.
Like it.
I think.
Not so with the checkers, but the rest is all right.
Yeah, there's like one or two other outfits. But the boss is right after this.
That is a very cute doggo.
Yes. Also, there's a dog hanging out on the screen. He said, "What? I want to see the ass." And then he came over there.
And I know my previous statement, which is still I still stand by it. It's still true. Like, I'd rather look at a female butt than a male butt. However, there are some male butts.
Appreciate it, man.
There's some, like, I recently, like last year, played through a lot of Metal Gear games, and let me tell you, some of the butts in that would give that butt a run for their money.
Oh yeah, they're on the run for their buddy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm playing a game right now called Once Human, and I have quite the yacht. I'm
Me too, baby. Me too.
Yeah.
I just love the option that you can hide all the armor pieces.
Dude, oh my first boss fight was done with a woman in her skivvies, and I mean, I was distracted. I was trying to focus on the boss, and I think his name was like Sergeant Jack or something, was making it real hard. Yeah.
So should Once Human.
A sentence.
How is Once Human going? Let's talk about it. I have not played.
No, that wasn't a joke, by the way. His name was actually, I think, Sergeant Jack.
It's Sergeant Jack.
Sorry.
Yeah. Once Human's doing like a closed beta test. Is this going to have another wipe in
Sir
it?
Lucas. Thank you. Sorry.
Is it going to have another wipe after this beta test?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I don't know if they've even announced this is going to be the last beta test.
Oh, okay.
This is closed beta test 3.
Okay.
And it has full disclosure, I did 4 hours of sponsor streaming for this.
Okay.
But that I've played like 10 hours. If that tells you anything. I also put like 20 hours in the last beta, unsponsored. But that being said,
amateur
CB closed beta test 2, as opposed to closed beta test 3, there's been a huge amount of improvements. They basically like redid a lot of the main story at the beginning, so it actually makes a little more sense now instead of just no sense.
They didn't Dragon's Dogma it up there?
Dude, they've added in a PAL World system.
What
Deviants
what is that?
Are now PAL World style things that you bring with you. They have abilities, and you can like call them out to auto attack, and they have like, it's a completely new thing. They also made managing them super easy as opposed to before, and there's far more to collect and use. So like, I got one PAL that like auto attacks, or I can use it to put a weak spot anywhere on the monster, and then I just shoot it, and it does like weak spot damage. Another PAL makes like actual cover for me to hide behind, or I can like do other stuff. Another PAL, I'm calling them Deviant. Another Deviant. I'm sorry. Another Deviant you put in your base, and he actually walks out of your base and starts passively mining all the stuff around it, and he just brings it back and puts it in your body.
Oh shit, I haven't got that far yet.
There's apparently awesome. A fishing Deviant. I don't even know what it does yet, but it exists, and I'm super excited about that. But the short of it is, oh, look at that dumpy. The short of it is, it's much more streamlined. There's new QOL. There's new mechanics. There's a specialization system now. The base building has been improved. The whole introductory part has been improved. Like, it's the amount of progress they've made between CBT2 and 3 has me stupid excited for the release of this game. Like, they have made a huge amount of progress, and most importantly, a ton of the progress they made was like user requested stuff, like develop this more, make that, like, they retconned a bunch of their previous main story stuff because I'm pretty sure so many people were like, this needs to be better. Like, we need to have more of a step. So now when you play CBT3, there's so much new stuff that randomly you'll get like voice lines that haven't been recorded yet, or the player or the character will say something, but their mouth won't move because they haven't done the animations. Like, they're in the middle of basically completely redoing the beginning experience, and it's awesome. It's so much better than it used to be. That alone is great. But on top of that, just so many new things to see, and not necessarily see and do, because I've been to beta before, but the new systems, the new advancement, the new QOL, it's all great. So
okay,
yeah, great time.
I have one now. To like correct me if I'm wrong, or just help me out with this. Back in the other, see right there, Ripple and space-time detect nearby. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. People leave messages that have that attached to it. Yes. Whereas before, Ripple in space-time would mean that there's some like mutant fridge or chest or something like that attached, and I fucking hate it.
That is a new thing.
Just walking along, and it's like Ripple in space-time. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And then this like hologram pops up, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I walked up to it, and I was like, it's just a fucking message from some random user. Downvote.
No, you're that system is actually one of many, which is basically like just half finished. We've had some of the devs and dev liaisons in the channel when we were doing the sponsor stuff.
Yeah,
there is a ton. This is the problem with like companies like EA is they actually ruined what a beta test is, because they use beta and alpha as PR terms, but that's not what beta and alphas are. This is an actual beta. Like, this game is not done. It is like there are literally systems in the beta that are half finished that just don't work because they aren't complete yet.
Text still, there's flaws of text still in simplified Chinese, I think.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of simplified Chinese text. A lot of things that just don't do what they say they do. Hotkeys that don't function properly. Lots of just completely nonsense things because they haven't been converted to English yet. They've just been translated. So, you know, there's the game is raw. It's in an open dev state right now. And even then it's awesome, which says a lot about it, which is really cool.
No, and like I said that loud, so like anybody listening to Ko's channel, because you know they're not going to come to mind, but like anybody listening to Ko's channel right now will hear that and go like, can we differentiate like what it says at least? Like that's all I want. I want it to say Ripple in space-time for the cool shit that you can find. Like
there,
you know, or and I want to say like the other thing should say like dumbass has something to say to you, like, something like that.
Absolutely. There's lots of little things the game very much is, like I said, it's unfinished. Like I'm in the camp that can't stand the snapping sound every time you hit Q. Like the fact that we can't lower that volume or change it or turn it off.
What is the snap? Like, does the character go like
this
that?
game has this game doesn't have a loot radar. It has a loot pulse. Which is very common in games like this. And the problem is every time you do the pulse, it sounds exactly like the Nintendo Switch snap. Every single time. And it fades pretty quick, and the range isn't huge. So you're constantly running around snapping. No.
Okay.
It's no. And people are constantly complaining about it. So and there's all sorts of little systems that need to be changed and updated and fixed, and you know, but that is
but this is why we talk about them.
They're listening
to
this
like
stuff.
What we want. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. They listen to this stuff. They have a very active
awesome.
Discord as well.
It's super, super easy to just pour hours into it. Like I for the last beta test, like I went max level. I did every single thing you can do, except for one thing that I needed like a group of like 5 or 6 people. But I could never find 5 or 6 people on the same server. Also, like, there's no way to like group up with people who are on a different server, right? Okay,
so there's the lettered stuff. A, B, C,
no, I know
D,
the
F.
worlds.
Those are the
worlds
servers
within a server.
Now, the worlds in the server, if you're
worlds within the server, right?
If you're on C and you have a friend on E, then you go to any major town, interact with the teleporter there, and select change world, and you can go to their world.
No,
Yes.
No. You got it backwards. The letters are the servers. Within the servers, there's worlds that are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm saying those. Those are the ones you can go to.
Yes,
if you want.
But if the server is full, like the lettered server is full.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Those are the lettered servers are like MMO servers.
Yes. Okay.
So
okay.
that's
I'm just
how that
making
works.
sure.
And then the stuff inside those are like instances. You can switch between instances. Just like in an MMO, you can't change your server. Yeah.
I'm just saying all my streamer friends are on. Like I got in a little bit late, so all my streamer friends are on servers that I can't get in because they're full.
That sucks.
Okay.
But
I'm hoping that there's a way to maybe in the future, because it's beta. I know. But like way in the future to like take your shit to a different server for like, just a mission and then like port me back. That's fine.
Now what if that mission was $5?
I wouldn't pay that. $4.99 I would, though.
Okay.
Well,
$4.99. It sounds lot less money in my brain.
Hold on.
I learned that from the supermarket simulator game.
I see you're joking about microtransactions.
Oh, I know. I know. They've already said
that would be totally fine for them to do that.
Oh, for server transfers, yeah.
You're talking about a paid server transfer,
Yes.
which is like a totally normal thing in MMOs.
Yes.
So I mean, what you just said is a joke. They very well might do, and that would obviously be kind of okay. Yeah. Okay.
That wasn't a NetEase jab or anything.
I thought it was more of a DD2 jab, to be honest.
No, that was just like MMOs. I'm running into that. Dude, Final Fantasy still has issues with that. People still can't fucking make characters on my server. And so I have people that started last week. And they're like, I'm on this other server. It's like, I guess we'll just pay for a character transfer later. Yeah. Right? So like it's common.
Real quick, while we were talking last week about Once Human, we read that hilarious quote from the devs about, basically like, give me liberty or give me no pay to win or give me death. They actually, the liaison was like, let me clear this up a little bit for you. And this is an actual conversation between the liaison and the dev, where it's like, this is going to be a massive success. It's the liaison. As long as there's no pay to win. Pay to win could kill this project very fast. The dev replied, said, they won't. We went really high key in the Chinese market about not being pay to win. We can't go back on that.
Cool.
That's interesting. That's the first I'd heard about that. So apparently in their market, in one of their biggest markets, they are advertising the fact that they're not going to be pay to win. So at first I was like really concerned that NetEase was going to like jump it, and they still could, for instance. But I mean, NetEase at any point could drop 30 million and just buy the studio and just do whatever they want with the game. They could do that the day before release if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But I will say that if they're publicly
here you go.
But if they're publicly marketing it as a non-pay to win game, that's going to become a lot more difficult.
Yeah. They'll get a lot.
Co saying the word liaison weird on purpose. I am.
It's liaison, yeah.
It is. But that word tends to be surrounded by a lot of debris. So I can't really, it's tough.
I get it.
I'm going to throw you in a chasm, buddy.
All right.
And I'm not even going to look back.
Just because I'm not a member of your faction doesn't mean that we can't just talk like adults, okay?
Get rid of this cool guy facade. Okay, please.
This is ridiculous.
That was a stretch.
You're a stretch.
I can't add to this because I just say words wrong all the time. Not on purpose.
Well, hey, listen. The thing is, like, Katie does that. My wife does that. She says a lot of words.
A lot of it is
she pronounces them incorrectly, and she was like, I read something, or I read or saw something, and the reason why we do that is because we've read these words, but we've never heard them said.
Yeah, sure.
So like that's true. I've actually never heard the word.
She's very well read, but her pronunciation makes it sound like she doesn't. But she does. She uses all these big words, and I'm like, I don't think that means what you think it means. And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, because you read it. You've never heard anyone say that out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have heard people say the word. See, I can't even say the writing utensil made out of wax. The kids paint or kids color things with.
Crayon?
Oh, crayon.
It's crown.
Crown?
No, it's not.
I've heard
no
crayon.
one says it like that. not a real word.
cranberry.
It's crown.
I've heard it said cran.
It's crown. See,
Yeah.
that's apparently
Well,
that's
okay,
a Texas
okay.
thing.
This is another regional thing. Like, how do you say it's like a not a river, but it's a little bit smaller than a river, and you jump in it, play with your friends.
A stream?
No,
Pond?
no, it's like a river, but it's smaller. How do you say
A
that?
creek?
Creek?
Oh, crick.
Crick.
It's
Yep,
it's the crick.
I've heard that a lot.
We're going up to the
that's-
crick.
That's a southeast thing too.
Yeah,
Yep,
that makes
crick.
sense. I can understand that. Yeah. There's a lot of those.
Yep.
We could
Anyway.
spend a lot of time there.
And you bring your like to the baseball game. You bring your crazy crick chair or lazy crick. That's lazy crick. It's just the back. Yeah, the chair with the back that benches.
Okay.
You know, stadium seating with benches that you make
Yeah.
the chair with the
Yeah, I just never have. I thought
buckles?
I thought you said like a racial term or I don't know what you were saying. I didn't know what just happened.
Hey, JP, real quick.
Evil on
Real
me.
quick.
I spent too
JP,
much time on
JP,
social media. I thought
JP,
you just like
JP.
cursed me out or something.
JP, my brother in Christ. The next time you think you mishear something racial, just keep that to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. Especially if you're further sure that it wasn't what you thought, just keep it to yourself.
It is crazy
Okay.
crick.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Crazy crick chair. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. JP,
It was nice, I will say, about like going back to Once Human. It was nice, like knowing, like playing it as long as I have, and I was like, I know where the fucking sniper rifle is. I'm gonna go get it right now.
yeah.
Oh, God.
It was just like,
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Just ran to the sniper rifle. First thing I did.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about the R epidemic?
Yeah.
Is it wash or warsh?
Yeah.
Is it idea or idea?
It's definitely not
It's
idea.
it's this phantom R that just
Yeah.
like it's like inserting itself in words. And there's like 5 other words where just some people just add an R. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's very
A
simple.
lot of people. Warder is another common one. A lot of people say warder.
I've heard of warder a lot.
Oh, that's
The
very
R
East Coasty.
epidemic.
The Aaron Urn,
Okay.
and Iron Urn.
Okay, I've never heard this one. Okay, turlet. That's a good one. Turlet's a good one. Spatular.
No,
Is that a real one?
That's just like a mom being cute and they made us talking
Okay.
to a 5-year-old.
That'd be great if it was.
I've never
I
heard
want to
of
hear someone
spatula.
say, "Hey, can you get me the spatular?"
I haven't heard that. I've not heard that one.
Well, a spatula doesn't sound like it does anything. A spatulur sounds like it does
verb.
something. It's spatulas.
Sounds like a kitchen tool looking for love.
It's spatulas.
Yeah, what is the verb of spatula? Yeah, that's true. Good point. It's a good point. Good point. Anyways, Once Human. So we have no
I
idea.
only say the wash after hog. Like I'll say like I'm gonna go do the wash, but if I say hog wash, I'll say that. I'll put the R in there. I don't know.
Do you know why you do that, or does it just happen?
It sounds better that way because it sounds
Rolls off
very
the tongue.
very rural, very country.
Jeez.
It doesn't
better
stumble in the
mouthfeel.
mouth.
Oh my god, dude.
2x scale, 2x scale, 2x scale. Say it.
Tuco.
It's Tuco.
There you
Tuco.
go.
It's Tuco.
Yeah, come on, we fixed it. We did Riot's job for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we should get royalties at this point.
Let's jump from.
I go by Zerkiel the Third now.
Oh God. We'll jump from one absurd thing to another. We all played this. 2 different streams, though, 2 different groups.
Content warning.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a thing that came out.
We should play this next
Monday.
week because like nothing comes out over the course of this following week. So we should do Drop Frames content warning with a guest next week.
I'm potentially down. I would say, and I'm actually curious because the 3 of us have not played together. You guys played with
Dan
and Anthony Conkfan on
Yep.
Tuesday, I think. And I did a session with Gas Mexican, Shenaners, and Bruce Green.
I'm sorry, what?
Shenaners.
Shunanners? Is it
Yeah.
not C-nanners?
It's Shenaners. It's actually
Really?
Shenaners, yeah.
Okay. I was sitting here like, wait, what? How out of touch am I? Okay.
It's because he's read it, not said it out loud.
That's
It's true.
correct.
It's because I've read it. It's true. I didn't know it wasn't Shenaners. Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Anyways,
shook. That's right.
two different groups. So we actually, like, my group was pretty, after we played, we had a good time, but we were pretty adamant in all saying that by the end of our 4, maybe 5 hour session, I forgot how we played, we were all fucking exhausted because we were like, quote, turning it on for video like you do if you're recording a YouTube video or something like that. Was that the same for you guys?
Dude, our videos were the best part of the thing because we all approached it differently.
Okay.
So like Zeke was like almost like a welcome to Jackass thing.
Okay.
Dan's Gaming put on his movie voice, so he was narrating the entire thing. Like he was doing like these crazy videos. Anthony was just being Anthony. He was just being absolutely ridiculous. And I was just making fart sounds the whole time. Like I would hold down the video for a fraction of a second in like 10 different places and just make fart noises.
Okay.
And we'd watch the video and it'd just be like with like 10 different pictures behind it. It was great. Anyway, but no, this game is really interesting because people think Lethal Company is a game for creators. But this is the game for creators.
Totally.
This is the game. This is what, when you take Lethal Company, which is just like a great multiplayer game, and you make it for creators. And that's what this is. It's a sandbox. Honestly, I got kind of bored of it at the end of it. Unlike in Lethal Company, it's not nearly as engaging because like if the camera's not there, you really have nothing to do. So it's got a different feel than Lethal Company. I felt like this is more of an exposition game. Where this is much more of a fun with friends game. Like you play this game if you want to like have fun with friends, but like put on a show kind of thing, right? You don't it has a completely different feel than Lethal Company, and one that I kind of like at the end I was like, yeah, that was fun, but yeah, on to like a real game. I don't want to sound like mean, but no,
I agree with
I'm ready
you.
to
They're like what going back to what you said I think it needs to be resaid. If the camera's not with you, my interest in the game plummeted. Like if you're not on
there's
camera,
nothing to do. Literally nothing to do.
Yeah, I didn't care about anything in that world unless the camera was on. And so we found ourselves just like walking around the place and like setting up shots, and it literally became that we were creating content within the confines of the game. And we were fucking exhausted.
This game is like a much more sandboxy version of Lethal Company. It has far less mechanics, and it gives you the tools to just have your own fun, make your own shows. Like I can imagine small groups of friends just playing this game for hours and hours and hours, making funny videos with each other. Like that'd be a great time.
Yeah.
But it's like the second the video, watching that video gets to be slightly less fun, the whole thing kind of falls apart. It's everything, the entire game is around making that little video at the end.
Yeah.
And when that loses its luster, there's nothing really else there.
Yeah.
And that it's that point is sort of writ large. The difference between Lethal Company and this is the Lethal Company clips are fucking funny. I would watch those. I tried watching other clips of other people playing this game, and it was boring as fuck, honestly.
It was really hard to make funny clips. Yeah.
The most funny aspects of the videos I remember watching were the ones where it was clear the people being recorded weren't trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like there are organic moments in this game. Like there was one time when, Anthony is running from an enemy with the camera on his face. He's just flipping out, like not trying to be funny, just flipping out. Dan gets thrown at him from behind, hits Anthony. They both go tumbling. Dan picks it up just in time to see Anthony get eaten. Like, I mean, it was like a cacophony of failure and just horrible things happening. They weren't trying to be funny. It was just hilarious. That was about 10% of the videos. That was about 10%. And then the rest of the videos were just like us trying to be somewhat entertaining.
Right.
And also like
the other guys are pretty good at it, but
it very much suffers from the, it suffers from the you had to be there, like kind of like simplex or syndrome or whatever you want to call it, because you ever do something or experience something really awesome and you try to like to describe it and you're like really excited, and the person you're talking to is like not getting how great this was, that's what this game feels like. A
Sure.
lot of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like this game was far more a flash in the pan. Like, I've noticed a lot of groups of streamers tried it once, and then, like, Lethal Company, you saw people try it, and then they were like, oh, this game's awesome. Let's play it the next day, and the next day, and let's get more people, and play with different people, and this is awesome. Like, it just, like, it got released and just kept going up. Content warning, I noticed a lot of streamers played it, like, a 2 to 5 hour session.
Yep.
And then we're just like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah. No,
We're good.
I agree.
Yep.
It very much. Yeah, I can't say any better. Like, I agree 100%. If I never play this game again, I'm fine with that. But what I did those 2 to 5 hours were like, it was pretty fun. Once you see a monster for the first time, or you like interact with a monster for the first time, and you get that on camera, and everyone's like reactions, it's funny for sure. I think pretty quickly as a content creator, you start, like I said, trying to create content on those videos. And exactly like Zeke said, turns out being funny is really hard, nonstop. A lot of content creators, turns out we're just not that funny nonstop all the time.
Turns out, and what's worse is when the times we aren't funny, we're actually pretty cringy.
Yeah. So that shined through pretty hard.
Kind of weird.
But it's also a very I'm very interested in the pipeline the game has to social media and TikTokification of its content. Because just like with what Overwatch did with its play of the game thing, where you could like export a play of the game, and then that would facilitate, social media in terms of people spreading, the good word of Overwatch. That's kind of how this game took off, was people spreading the good word of content warning by those, like, the videos that it would then save to desktop if you got back, or you hit F3 in the game and saved it. I really wonder if that is something that will like continue with other games of its type, where it's just so much easier to share that stuff on like a social media space. Because as content creators, Zeke was messing around.
Oh, dude,
in this video, that's fucking awesome to just have that stuff right at your fingertips.
We were talking about this after the stream. Imagine if this game had a button in it next to the video that you watch the videos on that just said export to Twitter.
Yeah.
That one little addition would have made this game viral in heartbeat.
Or if not viral, the amount of clips would just be 10x.
Oh God, 10x. Think if it automatically like drafted a tweet with a certain hashtag on it. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Whew. Donezo.
Couple of things I wanted to mention that are really cool about this game that was just a good feature that they didn't have to have, but they did, was the F3 feature of even if you lose your camera, you can keep the video that it made that time, because it stores it for you. And also if you recover the video, you can save it to your hard drive. You can save it to your desktop or wherever you want. It makes it super streamlined and super easy to do that.
Yeah.
Very good choices. And also, didn't they give this game away for free for a couple days or
it was free on April 1st,
which was brilliant.
Yeah, it was also a great marketing move.
Really
that was
smart.
really cool of them. Yeah.
That's arguably one of the reasons it exploded. Like that was a brilliant move.
Yep. Yeah. I would agree.
Also, by the way, a little off topic, but congratulations to our Democratic brothers and sisters for officially clearing the robot scourge as of 2 minutes ago.
The robots are gone, apparently, from Helldivers. I hope that means
just a little more free to me.
I hope that means that a third
new faction
is about to show up, because that's what I've been waiting on to return for to that game.
I've been meaning to go back for a while. Dude, those devs have just been
they're crushing it,
slaying it. Like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
From new things added without even telling their player base, to like the quality of the stuff being added, to the communication and the way that they're dealing with their community is just, my Lord.
Masterclass. Without
Masterclass.
Yeah. They're doing everything right with that.
I'm excited to return to that game.
Yeah, I almost Bruce Green still plays every single night. I think
it was great playing with him. We gotta get back together at some point.
I think he's like in the 50s now because they increased the level cap to 150.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, now it's 150. And there's people that are like,
I thought that was a joke.
No, dude. There's people that are 150.
Like increase triple the level cap. I was like, April Fools.
Dude, people are fiends for that game. People fucking love Helldivers. It's wild. And it's awesome that it's fostered that much of a fan base for sure. And everything's like all the matchmaking issues, all that stuff is gone from what I've heard. The numbers are, you know, not what they were at launch, but I think there's 350,000 people playing right now. So it's not like you can scoff at that. It's doing very, very well. And I do want to say that the most recent patch does have a lot of crashing issues, as chat's telling me right now. There's still a lot of crashing issues in it, so that kind of sucks.
Thor had crashing issues today? That sucks.
I think it's just widespread for sure.
Yeah, Goth is a guy I normally watch. He starts a little bit before me in the morning, so I generally jump in and see how his hell diving is going.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed that game. It still blows my mind how much some people play that game.
Dude, there's fiends.
Dude. I think he has 200-ish hours almost, it feels like.
I believe it. Maybe. Is he level 150? Do you know what level he is?
He was max level for a week.
He was 50, but they increased it.
He played like 4 to 6 hours a day. But didn't they just increase it relatively recently?
Last week. But I think it was like it advanced your level. They kept track of the XP, so it pushed your level forward when the update hit.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But no, I know he's also a big once human guy like me. So I think he's been slowing down on the hell diving for a bit. But.
Yeah, makes sense. If they had that third race though, I'm in for sure.
Oh, I'm back, dude. I'll play the freaking night. They get a third race in. Yeah. And believe it or not, you know what? Here's what's cool. Not a lot of devs I would say this about, but I wouldn't be surprised if and of course this probably isn't going to happen. Let me just say that. But I wouldn't be surprised if by tonight they had a third faction in the game.
Totally. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Totally unannounced. Like that's kind of their thing right now is these cool unannounced updates. Like I'm wondering if that would happen. Now tell me this real quick. For anyone hell diving right now, with the robots gone, does that mean the only thing you can fight right now is bugs? Like you don't even get the option to fight the bots? Are gone? I think that's correct. Interesting. So, I mean, a lot of people, funny enough, don't do bugs anymore because they're too easy on Helldiver.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I mean, if they can't have the robots out for long, because that's like the only thing that some people play. So
there will probably, if not today, just because it's Sunday, there might be a thing tomorrow where they where Joel flips that switch.
Oh, some people in chat saying they didn't think that it would be up over the weekend. That's also a good point. Like for something like this to complete on a Sunday is not the best of timing for the devs.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
I wonder if they're driving into work right now, like these mother. Oh my god, how do they do it so fast? All right, fine.
Joel's getting busy. Yeah. Usually updates are on Wednesday or Thursday. I feel like that would be detrimental to I feel like they've trained the community to expect something sooner than that if they wait till Wednesday or Thursday this week. And it's just bugs. I don't know. We'll see. The 11th is the new War Bond, which they've already had the video. That is Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, there's a trailer out for it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Really, cool.
There's actually, I want to say there's a red-ish armor set code that you might like for color purposes for your channel. Yeah. I want to say that was in that video.
I am intrigued.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I want to say that was in there. Anyways, Helldivers. Congratulations, everyone. The mechs are gone. The automatons are gone.
Thank you for spreading democracy, chat. We appreciate you.
Yeah. We don't have to spend much time on it, but I finally, for whatever reason, Stardew Valley stuck with me, and I'm all about that farming life now. How many hours am I in? A pitiful 31 hours in.
Honestly,
Stardew.
Tell me this. Are you enjoying Stardew, or are you enjoying playing Stardew with your buddies? It's
a little bit of both. Because I've played a lot of Stardew solo because Max and Bruce, they start later in the day. So my like first 3 to 4 hours every day is solo, and then they get on and it becomes the multiplayer experience. But yeah, it's both, I would say. And I actually bounced off the game pretty hard when it first came out. So I think that also just shows that I've either slowed down as a gamer or I'm just more interested in this type of stuff now. But yeah, I just get out there and do some farming. I actually would kind of say, Zeke, have you played any Stardew? Have you jumped into it?
I actually was looking up how many hours I have because at like when it first was like getting some traction, I picked it up and played it for like 17 hours.
Yeah.
So like I put a little bit of time into it, and the reason why I haven't gone back is it like I don't know. I'm saying this from not experience, but from like the feeling I get is that it got more complex than I wanted it to be. You know, I wanted it to be like it was in the beginning. It was very simple. You could choose to do this, choose to do that. And now it's just like there's so many different things you can do. It's just too much.
There is a lot of stuff
for me to handle.
There is a ton of stuff that you can do. And I would say one of the weird things, very much a streamer take, I will preface it with that. There's fans of Stardew, and then there's fans of Stardew. And what I mean by that is there's people that are fucking like encyclopedias of knowledge about this game, and that are like, that know the like, on day X of season Y, you have to do this. And if you don't do that, then you can't do this in year one. And like, I had to learn very quickly just to like fucking put blinders on. Like they could type all that in the chat. I'm fine with it. But that generates a shit ton amount of stress for me when I'm like looking at the date and it's like, oh, I got to go if I don't get this thing and then I won't be, then I got to wait a full year. Then I won't have that fish. I got to go get that. I just don't care. Like I focus on one thing and I just have a great fucking time. And I don't fault them for it.
I care about that shit. It's like I have the worst FOMO when it comes to games. Like,
I'm able to push that out now.
I want to restart the game if I don't do it. Like, if I know something down the line, I miss like a fish that I can't get anymore. I want to fucking start my game over again.
Yeah, I've just pushed it out.
See, the good news about this game is, and I don't know if it's changed since I played a long time ago, but the really good thing about this game is it doesn't really end.
Yes.
So there's never like something that you've missed. You just may have to wait longer to do it. So like if you missed a fish in January or in the beginning of the year and it's, fall, you may have to wait till the next year kind of thing. But I don't think there's anything that's like,
do you want to know something funny?
Completely missable. What's that?
You're trying to argue for the game and you just made it so I will never play the game again because you said it doesn't have an end.
Well, okay.
No. Hold on.
It does have an end.
There is a point of finality.
Yeah.
But there is not a point of finality that you need to worry about getting to without missing things.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Without spoiling it, there is a bit of impetus in that ending occurring. It's not going to just randomly happen and you're going to feel like, oh God, I missed a bunch of stuff. That's not, this game won't do that.
Okay.
So funny enough, what you're talking about not missing things, this is one of the best games to play because there's almost nothing you can miss.
Yeah. Except
so you can
miss that one plot in your farm that you didn't water, and that'll really piss you off. You got to make sure that you got to get all the water.
Yes, and I do want to point out what I'm talking about this game like 3 years ago, and this game has undergone huge development. So maybe there's some stuff now that is different. I don't know. I'm planning on playing 1.6 at some point. I finally finished one of my big 3 games, so we're getting closer. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit still. So
yeah, I'm having a blast. But you're also correct, Cohen. Going back to your original statement, a lot of it is because I'm playing co-op, and we've Max is the guy that goes to the mines. I'm the farm guy that handles all the farm and handles all the animals. You guys are both cash cows on the farm. Thank you very much for your milk every single day.
Please be gentle.
Yeah,
I will. You're welcome. By the way, can you warm your hands up? a little bit more?
I'll start.
Please.
Well, we're in winter now, so you guys have heaters, so it's nice and frosty, or nice and warm in those in the barn. Yeah,
I was gonna say it
Thank
better
you.
not be frosty.
yeah, it's not frosty. It's nice and toasty.
Me and
That's
Zeke
the
will
word.
me and Zeke will unionize, dude. If you're not careful,
I get it. I understand.
Watch out.
Yeah, I
We'll start. We'll just start milking each other and like charging you.
Just do that at night. Okay.
And that's
Do
my
that while-
time, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah,
My
thank
name
you.
is Ezekiel the Third. I'll see you.
Just do that while I
Zeke,
sleep. Just do that while I
If you
sleep.
could do me a solid, and just never talk again.
Clean up in the barn. I don't want to see that shit when I get in there in the morning. Okay. No, it's been a blast. I'm having a fun time with it. And it's ultimately just Stardew. I don't even think I've seen. I don't know. It's fun playing through it because everyone's like, "Oh, that was in patch 1.5." It's like, cool, man. It's in Stardew for me. I'm gonna go pick up this tomato now.
I know. Yeah. No point of reference. None. Just
Absolutely. Absolutely. Zero point of reference.
Make me a promise, JP.
Okay. All
Next
right.
time you go to milk me,
Okay.
you need to sing Zeke's whole milk brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right. It's better than yours.
Okay. All right.
excuse me.
I will.
I would like that sung to me as well, please.
The same song?
Yes. You
Okay.
can even use Zeke's name in mine too. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't have any milk, issues.
We just added, some goats to the farm. You guys are sharing the barn with some goats.
For those that are very confused, JP named his cows after me and Zeke.
And Dan and who's the four? Oh, Jericho. Jericho is one of the other guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's good. You can were you guys able to adopt pets when you played? Because you can now adopt pets. You can adopt.
I think you could get a pet.
Well, you get a pet, but
And then
now you can adopt
Are
pets.
you? Hold on. Are you allowed to take him to the
I think that might be
the dog park and tell people like, I like to think he rescued me.
No, maybe. I don't know. I that's everyone. Dude, the number
Oh
one
my
question.
god, dude! I just had a pretentious shudder, like when you said that. Like, oh god.
The number one question I get when I'm playing this game is, "Hey, who's JP romancing?" We haven't even started doing any of that, and I probably don't care to interface with any of it because I'm just, I'm a farm man. Okay, I'm focused on the farm and farm activities. I'm not about that. We're not getting into the relationships with anyone in Stardew yet.
So you're like Hank Hill, like
Sure.
just farming accessories.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, me and Max are kind of broke back mounting our way through this because we did go to the dance together.
Can you romance each other?
Chad was saying you can.
Zeke, you can role play anything, big guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of farmers
No, I
only
was talking about
commentary.
in-game mechanics, like give presents, gain
Chad is saying
favor
you
with
can.
other people.
Chad's saying you can. So
Awesome.
yeah. Anyways, I'm very much about that Stardew life. There's not too much stuff out at the moment, so I'm kind of probably just going to keep playing this over the next week.
Time for it.
Yeah, it's a great
Dude,
time
you
for
said
it.
it's the right game at the right time, and I love that feeling, man.
Dude,
I love that
it's
feeling.
the best.
100%.
It's the
100%.
best feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right game at the right time is the best.
Mhm.
And this absolutely is. So and I guess just so we can keep up with the narrative of the show, Co, how much Final Fantasy have you played? Because I've played 0.
I finally finished DD2, so next week I plan on really
That's the
leaning
wrap
into
it?
the Final
Okay,
Fantasy
you're gonna wrap it
7.
up?
That's my next target.
Okay.
My big 3 was Yakuza, Rebirth, and Dogma. Dogma's done. Now we're working on Final Fantasy. We're gonna do more Yakuza in the evenings, and we're gonna finish it up, man.
I might have
Gotta get to Alone in the Dark and Rise of Ronin, and then we've got how long now? 2 weeks until No Rest for the Wicked.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you can wait as long as you want on Alone in the Dark. It's as the kids say, aggressively mid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
I still want to play it. I'm a fan of the other games, so
It's like a
even if
2 to
it's
3
okay, I'll probably enjoy it.
2 to 3 stream probably, right? It's short.
Nick, it
How
says,
did
is
you
Final
say
Fantasy
that
7 not
with
good
a
or something?
Straight face.
No, Final Fantasy 7 is amazing. I'm just really taking my time with it. My game is like 50 plus hours. I
That's
think,
where
this
I'm
point.
at. Yeah, I'm 54
so-
hours.
or I think over 60 maybe even. No,
I
the game's
think-
great. It's just long, and it came out between other long games.
Yeah. I think both Co and I really enjoy it. Actually, we just I fell off of it after, I think it's been 2 weeks since I've played it. And everyone keeps reminding me how long it is. And so every time I hear that, it's like, oh, fucking Christ. Like, do I want to dump another 50 hours into this right now?
There have been games where it's just kind of like you get to a point where you just have to like ask yourself, am I enjoying this enough to want to put another 50 hours into it?
Yeah.
I've had that happen with games before. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
It's more psychological for me, for whatever reason of like, I need to do this, but what if I just went to the farm? What if I just
God, I hate that. I hate that feeling of like, I'm in the middle of this game. This other game is so much more fun right now.
Yeah.
That's why I did exactly what I did.
Then you hate play the game until it's like, I've done that. Like, I won't do it anymore. Like, you hate play the game until it's done. You're like, I better finish this one. I better finish so I can have my dessert over here. No,
Dude,
no, you're an adult.
I don't want to
Just
hate
say
the game
no.
for that reason. 100%.
I have so many people angry at me about the exact same thing. Why can't you just play more Final Fantasy? Can you just finish it, please? Like, can you just play it? And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna force myself.
You're not gonna hate
play this game when there's other games I want to play. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna take it at my own pace. I'm gonna enjoy the whole thing. Like, it's so weird.
Conversation
when people
in chat the other day. About like someone asked like, where's your I saw you play this other game the other day. Why is the playthrough not up on YouTube? It's because we don't put non-complete playthroughs on YouTube. Like if I play a game and I don't want to play it anymore, we don't put it up on YouTube because people get pissed.
That's smart.
Dude,
and they do. They get furious. Most of my YouTube is incomplete. They hate me.
Ask Jesse Cox about his Skyrim playthrough. Like it's it's a notorious thing now.
The blue balls.
Every streamer's got one. Every content creator's got one. It's just how it goes. That's how it goes. All right, let's do some shout outs so that Zeke can finally, for once, be on time for his tabletop
for
show.
RP.
Yeah, Zeke, please, shout outs.
Yo, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you to Co and JP for being wonderful co-hosts every week. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out, on Instagram and TikTok. I am in the middle of doing my 10th anniversary of quitting my job month, which is a very long title, I agree, but like it's the thing I wanted to celebrate was not me getting partnered, but me able to make Twitch my full-time job, and that happened in April 2014. So we're celebrating it this month by taking a look back at all the weird and wonderful games that we've and streams that we've done. This week we got a good one. I'm planning a week ahead of time. So on Tuesday, if you want to join us, My Summer Car. I'm going back to My Summer Car.
Ooh.
That game grabbed me and didn't let go for 13 hours the first time I checked it out. So we'll see what happens. And then Wednesday and Thursday I have blocked out for Harvester. Oh, that gem, that masterpiece of a game. We're going to be playing that on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, JP, you might be interested in this.
Uh-oh.
Tune in for this. It's a day of games that make me sad or hate myself.
Oh.
We're going to play Getting Over It.
Okay.
Only Up. Possibly a difficult game about climbing.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing some blackjack. So things that
You're going to end that day with blackjack?
Yep. And RP after this if you want to join on twitch.tv/tablestory Blade Runner. So.
Okay. What if can I put an asterisk on all that, Zeke? And say if time permits, maybe some SnowRunner?
I think I'm gonna replace the climbing game with SnowRunner.
Okay.
I think because I didn't that one in particular I hated more than the other ones.
I agree.
And it would just be okay, yes. I think that I'll do that.
With the wheel.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the wheel.
Okay. All right.
Yep. I blocked out 2 hours for each game.
There you go. Okay. Fair enough. You're welcome, chat. You're welcome. Have a good RP show if you depart.
Thank you.
Co, some shout outs. What do you got going on?
Absolutely. My name is Co. Hi! Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, a big thanks to Zeke and JP. You're going to find me playing a lot of Once Human this week. I still have a lot of goals I want to check out in the closed beta test 3 that we're playing. We'll probably do some more of that. In the cozy streams in the evenings have now been the daily rerun. Check out the cozy update command in my chat if you want to know more of that. We'll also be doing more Once Human, We have finished Dragon's Dogma, so we'll be doing more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Probably bring in some more Yakuza. I'd like to play Helldivers. And then, of course, I want to start up either Alone in the Dark or Rise of Ronin, which we may do this week, too. So, dang, we got a lot going on. And I hope you join us over at my channel for it. It'd be cool. And final note, the big update for our mobile app went out, and you can now do Kovatars on the mobile app. Pretty awesome. So if you are a Coalition mobile app enjoyer, be sure to get that update, check it out, and do your thing. All right, well, anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week.
Fantastic. I'm just farming. I'm short and sweet. That's all I got.
Yeah, even if we're not going to play content warning, we definitely should play something next week.
Yeah, we'll
maybe some Helldivers.
Maybe man. Helldivers. Yeah, we might do Helldivers. Well, has Zeke ever played Helldivers? He did. He played with us.
He did. He played with us a couple times.
First couple days. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll chat. We'll figure it out. Probably we'll do some sort of DFG though next Sunday because Co's right. It'll be a slower week for everything, most likely. Anyways, that's going to do it. Thanks everyone so much for watching. We'll see you sometime, probably next week, whether it's DFG or if it's a normal show, we'll let you guys know. When we know, we'll chat sometime during the middle of the week. We're out of here for now. I got to go to the farm. It's winter. We got to plant some shit and milk some cows. Like Co, his udder is quite full.
And it's calling for you.
Thank you.